with the facts in hand, let's go and maybe have another look at what he said in his call when he was trying to get the video deleted. I think he knows that nobody buys this blackmail story.
Are you recording this?
Of course I am. And you should be too.
Not gonna release it? I don't know what I'm going to do in the 10th hour conversation.
Why would it be bad if it was to be released, eh? He knows he's lying. He lies as easily as he breathes, dude. It's insane.
I've been lying.
And you've gotten on my stream, by the way.
So defensive. So defensive. Let's get into a start, okay? Let's get into the start. And I feel like where we should start is where everyone else has started in the last few days. Let's get into the Google Doc. So, hello. I knew that eventually this would come up, and I initially thought, since many of these allegations had already been disproven in the past, this is a situation from around a year and a half ago, that I wouldn't need to respond. However, after seeing the situation unfold after a video by FBS Diesel released, rehashing the situation, many people have begun to promote false allegations, which I do not blame Diesel for, drawn gross conclusions, and have attacked others who's promoted me or collaborated with me. For the sake of objectivity and being concise, any hearsay will not be mentioned in this document. Okay. To be clear, I'll go into this later. What he calls hearsay is not the ordinary definition of hearsay, okay? His definition of hearsay seems to be like testimony, okay? Things that are purely based on like testimony. I saw this, I saw that. That's not hearsay. That's just say. That's just say. Where's the here in that, okay? But we'll get into that later. Regarding the allegations last year, I have never assaulted anyone. Diesel has implied he doesn't believe I was some sort of predator in his original video.
One. Cameron ended up on the receiving end of many rumors during this as the idiot brigade of Kami and Ali tried to get Cameron on allegations. Now, I'm not going to address the age discourse of a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old hooking up. I don't really need to say anything as it stands on its own. I do...
That's a perfect freeze frame, but that's not quite true. Did he say the word predator in there at all, actually? One sec.
As the idiot brigade of Kami and Ali tried to get Cameron on allegations. Now, I'm not going to address the age discourse of a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old hooking up. I don't really need to say anything as it stands on its own. I do want to mention, however, how stupid Cameron is. Is Cameron friends with Dev now? Well, I don't really know for sure. Was he friendly at the time that he hooked up with Ann? Yes. He had more information than anyone else about Ann. He knew about the alleged extortion. He knew about the recordings, the backpedaling, the lying, all of it. And this idiot still went and slept with her. Since that time, Cameron got accused of rape in a roundabout way by Ann, got accused of assault by many more, and was thrown every accusation under the sun by Team Ali and Kami. Now, this is where that I mentioned about Kami leaking comes from, right? So there are 3 versions of this photo. So determining the original seems...
Okay. So that seems to go on for a little while. I mean, he doesn't actually use the word predator in this, so it feels like this was written, and then the links were found later to like back up the points. But whatever, it's fine. Okay. And the girl involved said, "I never."
Cranberry.
Was I actually...
You made a joke.
Was
Ha-ha.
Yeah, and you looked so terrified in that clip.
Oh, I was so terrified.
You were shaking
I
in
was
your
scared
boots.
for my life. I thought you were gonna come assault me.
Embarrassing. So you had a call with Crexa. Your story changed a lot. She asked you to get her words were get
evidence of like us and
Okay. Now, to be clear, if you take a look to what this chapter is called, it's called lying by omission. Okay? It's called lying by omission. And so what is this call about? Well, it's about how they never had
thing.
Yeah, you became good friends. Great. I'm glad you were both able to bond over this, and she was able to work you over the entire time, reporting to other people how abusive you were. You idiot. Now, he also mentions she is 17 and her birthday was at the beginning of February. Now, 17 and 19 sounds a lot nicer than 16 and 19. When they hooked up, she was 16, though. The majority of this drama, she was 16. Again, I'm not going to pontificate on the age gap thing there. It could be a sophomore and a senior in high school type age gap. Regardless, it was stupid for him to sleep with her. Again, I don't know why the fuck he would do the whole lie by omission thing there.
Have I ever, I guess, this is so stupid to ask. Have I ever done anything nefarious to you?
No, but I bet I know which subreddit is claiming those things.
Was I on Alex's side? Was I trying to help him? Was I, trying to convince you of anything?
No, you were pretty mad at him.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Did I ever send you anything gross?
Anything nefarious?
Yeah.
I have not seen your.
Okay.
Okay. So, to be clear, this is a difficult one because I think what he's done is he's linked the wrong timestamp. This has not been very thoroughly made, okay? This has been slapped together in like half an hour, it feels like. But he's linked the wrong timestamp. And so what he wanted to link, I think, was the bit where, to be fair to him, he asks, have I ever raped you, assaulted you, done anything nefarious or like evil to you? And she says, no. Now, this is not the strongest evidence against the claim, given that it is a matter of public record that she has accused him of rape. And now, he's in a one-on-one conversation with her, interviewing her and asking her directly, did I do this? Did I do that? Did I do the other? And just no. It feels like a very closed question, but fair play. All I'm saying is this isn't the best evidence. But to be fair to him, it's very hard to prove a negative. It's very, very hard to prove a negative. So, there we are. She's stated things going both ways. However, she has mentioned it, and this is something that I keep on seeing again and again, okay? People saying that, well, at one point she said that he did rape her. At another point, she said that he didn't rape her, okay? There is actually another one that she said. And this is a conversation in text between Diesel, Cameron, Nanny, and Diesel. Diesel, Nanny, Cameron, and Jelly. There we are. Okay? So, So, Anne, from your perspective, what happened? You guys hook up, a recording is taken, everything is chill till you feel like Cameron fucked you over, you accuse him, and then retract when you guys work out everything behind closed doors. Is that correct? Says, not quite. I didn't make any public accusation that detailed what he did. I found out him and a girl named Eve were doing stuff at the time when he claimed to be exclusive with me. So we were talking about how much of a bitch he is and sharing stories of the weird stuff he did / lied about. And when I told these same silly stories to Keith, he pointed out that they were kind of illegal, especially where he tried to eat me out and I didn't want to, so I had to start hitting him and stuff so he would put me down. And then I was like, that's a whole ass crime. So I posted about it. Cam was being sleazy and got caught. He apologized and fixed it. It wasn't rape. I don't think it fits the definition, but there was no forceful penetration. And Alex was mad that he got cucked by his former employee. Okay. I'm over it. I forgave him. This isn't a huge deal. Now, personally, I don't believe any of the three positions, okay? Because she has said, he raped me. She said, he didn't rape me. And the most detailed answer it seems like we've got is this. Out of the three, I wouldn't stand firmly on any of them, okay? I wouldn't stand by and say, I believe this one, right? But out of the three, this being the most detailed, accounting for the fact that they made up, he's apologized, okay? He's admitted to being pushy. We'll get to that later. This is the most likely of being true, I think, but I wouldn't stand by it. It's not over 50%. It's not more likely than not, okay? But out of the 3 on the table, I think this is probably the most likely, but it's nothing to stand by, okay? But here we are. So, something I'd like to mention about this situation is the call that is shown between me and Anne, the girl involved. In this call, that was being recorded without my knowledge, Anne starts the conversation talking about the hookup we had, then intentionally changes to an unrelated topic, me picking her up. An unrelated topic. I don't know if it's unrelated. I can see this framed as malicious. In one case, okay, because it's very, very hard to read stuff into the Anne girl, okay? Especially since she was a teenager, right? She was like 16 when all of this happened. So it seems like she's just detailing and getting on record saying all the times that he made her feel uncomfortable. Maybe was a little bit kind of like touchy or kind of went a bit too fast, right? You could read this as malicious and trying to lump things all together. But again, it's difficult. This is a big problem with all of this, okay? It's very, very difficult to distinguish exactly which side of this equation this lands on, okay? But going forward, the actual context of this conversation has been clarified in the past. So this is the context of the conversation. So I originally released these calls last year, responding to these allegations. Full disclosure, Anne did not know she was being recorded. I felt the need to record our conversations for my safety so that none of my words could be taken out of context.
I didn't know you didn't like being picked up. I put you down. It's not sexual.
I had like a Spurg freak out, and they're acting like I had a rational response.
And that it had nothing to do with sex, and I did something that made you uncomfortable. That's accurate, and it's okay.
Okay. So this is the problem, is that a lot of Cam's evidence of things that she is apparently, he will say, she said herself, this was never sexual. She said herself that she hasn't said of that a lot of the times. When he's saying she said that, a lot of these times, it's actually him saying this, that, the other. And she says, yeah? Or like in the first instance, goes off to something different, which, again, isn't the best evidence, but he's trying to
you
prove
didn't
a
like
negative.
being picked up. I put you down. It's not sexual.
I had like a Spurg freak out, and they're acting.
So that's not a direct kind of agreement. She pivots to another subject. But in the second one, he reiterates it again in a second call.
That it had nothing to do with sex, and I did something that made you uncomfortable. That's accurate, and it's okay.
So it had nothing to do with sex, and I did something that made you uncomfortable, right? Again, I feel like the difficult thing here, okay, is that Cam is quite manipulative. I'll get to specifics later, but he is quite manipulative, and frankly, he will lie. So, would I put it past him to try and lump all of these statements into one, and then try and get her to agree to it in, again, unrecorded call? She doesn't realize this is going to be put out to the public. Is she just going to say, yeah, maybe not to have an argument, and she would have said something else? Again, this is the problem. With this situation, it could go either way. It's so difficult to tell, because both of these people are frankly unreliable narrators. Okay. So. On an occasion where we were hanging out, I had picked her up while hugging her. I didn't know this was something she was uncomfortable with. After she asked for me to put her down, she explained that she had past trauma related to being lifted up. Okay? So this, so far as I can tell, it's never clarified if this is the first time they met up or the second time they met up. But all you can really say about this is like a social miscommunication, right? Nothing really more than that. If you want to go really, really far, it's a 19-year-old lad who's like maybe not thinking what he's doing, maybe should have like asked, or there should have been some kind of indication there, or personally, I do not care about this, okay? And I don't think anyone else should either. There we are. After she asked to be put down, she explained she had past trauma related to being lifted up. I had no idea of this and apologized. She even responded saying, "It's okay, you didn't know." As I have shown, she confirmed herself on several.
Hey, Cranberry.
Was I
You
actually?
made a joke.
Was
Ha
that-
ha.
Yeah, and you looked so terrified in that clip.
Oh, I
So it's the clip we've already seen. She confirmed herself on several occasions. Second occasion.
Ask, have I ever sexually assaulted you, or hurt you, or raped you, or done anything nefarious to you?
no. But I bet I know which subreddit is claiming those things.
Was I?
Okay. So there we are. That I never sexually assaulted her. Diesel also cast doubt on the girl and these allegations several times in both videos. I'm clipping through all the links just to make sure we're clear on the context.
A year ago, I released a video titled "The Fall of Yandere Dev," and I don't know why the fuck he would do the whole lie by omission thing there.
Have I ever? I guess this is so stupid to ask.
Okay, again, these are just links to the videos. Okay. So he didn't link timestamps, he just linked the videos themselves. Lovely stuff. Cite my sources. Yeah, I'll cite my sources. Here's a 3-hour video. Okay. I in no way condone yandere dev's behavior. Cool, that's fine. We don't need to get to that. Nobody's alleging that he did. Only that he ran defense for yandere dev for a little while he was friends with him, right? That's all. Not going to read through this since it's kind of like, it's not relevant to what's actually been discussed, okay? This was all before I learnt the extent of his actions. Later in October, I grilled Alex on his behavior in a call. In this call, he revealed that he asked for and received CSUM.
About this whole situation, ranging from like one end of the spectrum to the opposite. And I've heard from some people that I never expected to hear from, or heard some things I never expected to say. Like quite a few women contacted me and said, "Hey, I know what happened to you. When I was 16 years old, I understood how to manipulate men. I understood." Like they look at the situation and they see, oh, he was bait, that I don't go around looking for people to victimize. Someone came to me and gave me the opportunity to be stupid, and I was stupid, and I feel like shit about that. But I don't, hunt for victims. I just was put into a situation and didn't have the mental fortitude to say no like I should have.
Okay. In the context of having like grooming allegations with a child, I'm just going to see that as more than enough evidence, okay? I didn't have the mental fortitude. Dude, yandere dev just has the best way of saying things sometimes, especially when he's being accused of pedophilia. I don't sexualize minors. Mother Nature sexualizes minors. Okay. Oh. Okay. And that you listen to a minor masturbate. We already know this. It was at this point where I was completely and utterly disillusioned at what I just heard. Someone who thought was my friend did these things. After letting this information process, a few days later, I informed his local police of the admission. There we are. The reason I didn't volunteer this information to FBS Diesel, or anyone for that matter, should be obvious. I'm not going to give an admission of crime to a drama YouTuber instead of the police. I don't care who they claim to be connected with. Diesel himself noted that this situation had been poorly handled, and I didn't want to contribute to that. Many months later, since there was no action taken, I did finally give this information to the moderators of r/Osana, linked above, so that at least the public could know, okay? However, this kind of gets to the first time where I do explicitly want to bring in outside evidence about this, okay? And this goes to Cameron lying, okay? I mean, I'm trying to be diplomatic about it, but it's difficult to, okay? It's difficult to. With regards to claims about going to the police or turning over evidence, okay, to Diesel, this is what he had said previously.
Both know that already you went to the police.
Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure the case is already dropped.
Right. I checked. I haven't checked California because I haven't checked where Diesel lives yet.
I checked. I haven't. There's no case. There's submitted case. There's no case.
Yeah,
It's
there's
not
like a
like-
submitted report, but there's
It's-
no
it
like
hasn't
active
gotten any.
investigation.
Nah, they don't give a fuck.
All right. Well, listen, if you're worried about putting this into the feds because they will come back and contact you, like I can't not report
Yeah.
this to the feds.
I don't have time for any of that, but I will absolutely forward all my information to you because, number one, I trust you. I don't want to botch it because I don't have experience. I'm sure this isn't your first rodeo. So I'd be more than willing to forward that shit to you, buddy.
Shortly after hearing that,
There we are. So, he said he doesn't have time. He said he respects him. And so he says that he's going to turn over stuff to him. Which it seems like he didn't. But he's now claiming that, why would I turn it over to a drama creator? But it sounded like before you said you respected him. And that you couldn't handle that yourself. The story seems to be changing already. But, anyway. That's a little quibble, okay? It goes, okay. This doesn't demonstrate anything. Is it malicious that he didn't turn over evidence? I don't think so. Does it point to potentially the start of a pattern where Cameron will lie, not out of necessity, or not out of, like, severe, like, danger. His life's not at risk. He's not going to go to jail, okay? But simply to kind of help how he looks optically. For that small of an accommodation, he'll just lie about his motivations. Is kind of what I want to start, like, pointing out and at least, like, kind of put it in your minds, okay? So, on this point, one thing I feel is important to point out in this situation is that in his video, Diesel describes that he lied to get information from people. We can grant that. So did I. I don't entirely regret playing nice with Alex to get that admission from him. That's fine. But the implication here seems to be that, what? Were you only ever nice to get information about Alex? Doesn't quite seem that way. But if that's what he wants to imply, I guess I'll leave it up to you to decide whether that's true, okay? With all this said, with all of this said, this is all I really feel the need to comment on. I'd like to thank all of the people who've reached out with support. Simply put, I'm not going to let something dumb I did at 19, nor a short fling I had as a teenager, with a 2.5, okay? Not 3 years, okay? We're counting years with decimal numbers, okay? It was 2.5, okay? 2.5 year age gap ruined my career. I will be the first to admit that I regret my past work on Yandere Simulator, as well as many of my other actions while handling the controversy, but I will not accept the notion that I was in any way an accessory to help Yandere Dev group someone, or that I did so myself. Thank you for reading. There we are. Interesting to point out there is, seems like the primary concern of this document is putting out something to protect his career, but that might become a little bit relevant later, okay? So the next thing that we want to move on to, okay, is a little bit of an interview that he had on a live stream. Now, another thing that isn't huge, okay? This isn't groundbreaking, but you will notice this is the only live stream that Cam has gone on. And so far as I can tell, the only reason why he's gone on this person's live stream, as opposed to anybody else in the space that, frankly, he is more connected to, is because a lot of the people in the space have been quite critical of him. This person, their own form of commentary, whatever, has decided to choose and focus on the fact that the rape allegations are unfounded, which again was not the main thrust of the video. So he's gone on this person's live stream to talk about it. But there we are. He was asked for comment by Morale. I believe he's had DMs with Morale. He was asked to come on by Queeman. No. Sorry, Aiden. He never came on to Aiden's. I reached out for comment. He never replied.
Some really, really...
But he called into this this stream by this octopus woman with enormous breasts.
I don't know if it's a little obvious, but sometimes I'm a little retarded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sometimes I make some retarded decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I've been pretty critical of that for sure. That's fair.
No, and that is completely fair. I will be the first to admit.
Mm-hmm.
He was live DMing Aiden last night. Yeah, he seems to prefer DMs. Which, to be fair, with the kind of track record he has with calling people, I don't frankly blame him.
I made some really, really dumb decisions that I regret. I said things to FPS Diesel that I definitely regret.
Mm-hmm.
I also wasn't always honest with him. That so much I don't know if I completely regret, because he was definitely a bad actor in certain cases where I could feel like I was being misrepresented. And then there were some cases where I...
Okay, so these are where the cracks are starting to form, I think. Because he says a lot about just how much he respects and likes and appreciates FPS Diesel. After the video last night, or after the video a few days ago, that seems to be turning quite quickly. And he seems to have decided that Diesel is a bad actor now, retroactively, seemingly because of criticism.
Like, I used to respect him as a content creator, so, like, I don't know. There was a lot of trauma with the situation, and there was a lot of difficult things going on, and I wasn't in therapy at the time, and, like, yeah, this was a difficult situation, and I wasn't honest with him.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, for sure. I again, like, I'll just reiterate what I said before. Is I look at the entire situation. It's just like the accuser, which was first is Queeman as like the pusher of the accusations, and then also it's Anne, correct?
So again, this is somebody who knows very, very little about the situation. She has seen a tweet by Queeman and then thinks this is being pushed by Queeman. She doesn't even know the name of the accused. She just said Queeman was the pusher of the allegations. Yeah.
The name?
That is the name that is commonly gone by online,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, like
Very unreliable person.
I'll be honest, from what I've seen, yes. Like I said, I still need to watch. Here, for this, I'll turn that off. I need to watch the video. But like, my worry is like, I'm going to listen to this and just be like, okay, I don't have any more evidence, because it is, again.
And this, again, I remind you, is the majority of this person's coverage, okay? MamaOck, this is how she's chose to approach the situation. Totally fine, okay? Whatever. But this has been the majority of her coverage, has been assessing the rape allegations, deciding there's not enough evidence, and this has been the only person that Cameron has gone on to speak to. Which, to be clear, okay, you don't have to go on to fight aggressively, okay, with people who vehemently disagree with you about the allegations, about allegations against you. I don't think you need to. But it paints a certain image of yourself if you are only willing to speak to people who explicitly support you.
And really important for me to emphasize, the burden of proof is not on you. You are the accused. The burden of proof is on the person that is pushing this right now. They have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that something went on. So
yeah, that's why I didn't really put like hearsay in the document, because I'm like, the fuck am I, like, I can't just, I can only work with what I have, and that's her saying on multiple, so many occasions. There's more occasions that I didn't show up. Like, she used to, when she had a Twitter, she tweeted that I didn't do it. Like, there are so many occasions where she says, like, she verbatim says I never did anything like that to her. And yeah, she's told me she had BP. She thought she had BPD and was going through a manic episode. Like, there was so many.
So far as I can tell, references to BPD, I believe, start here. I haven't heard him allege that anywhere else. I could be wrong, but it's funny now that the BPD and mania allegations come out.
So many excuse after excuse. At this point, fuck any good faith I had for her, okay? And, you know, like, it's over. I don't care. I'm moving on with my life. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, like, obviously,
I got a video in the works. So.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're working on your next project right now.
Yeah. It's funny. The video dropped the day, the Diesel video dropped the day I finished filming my next video. So now it had to be put on the shelf for a little bit while I molded and fucking coped and seethed.
Yeah. No, I think that it's from the situation I see right now. Now it is back on them to respond. I think that Queeman is just like, oh, you didn't actually respond, and I'm just looking at this like, I really don't see what else you really need, what you can really say to this. I mean, like,
now to be clear, the thesis of Diesel's video and the thesis of the document is that Cameron has tried to lie and tried to get Diesel through a lie to delete parts of his coverage, to essentially sweep certain things under the rug. In his document, he doesn't address that. And then here, he's not talking about that either. Whereas that is the main thrust of why this is being discussed.
Like, you showed examples of her saying this didn't happen. It really, it has to go back to the accuser has to give me more.
I really can't comment on Queeman specifically. I don't really know anything about Queeman.
He doesn't know anything about Queeman? I thought he was the main one pushing the allegations.
I've only seen the 2 posts about me, and all I can really say is it seems like he's moved. I think it's a he.
Yeah, that's a dude. It's a dude, I think.
It feels like the goalpost has been moved. Right. Because at first it had to do with this like crazy allegation that I did something crazy to a minor, and then it moved to, why didn't you talk about what you said to FPS Diesel? Why didn't you talk about how you were not honest with FPS Diesel? Because it's hearsay, and I don't care, and that has nothing.
It's hearsay. It's hearsay. Sorry, what's hearsay?
Why didn't you talk about what you said to FPS Diesel? Why didn't you talk?
Which was the main thrust of the video, explicitly?
Talk about how you were not honest with FPS Diesel. Because it's hearsay, and I don't care, and that has nothing.
How is that hearsay? It's a recording. He has you in a recording.
To do, it's not serious. That is not a serious allegation.
It's not a serious. Okay.
That is a petty thing between 2 individuals, and
so lying to try to pervert somebody else's reporting on a situation and try to get them to sweep up your past is not a serious allegation. Okay, it's not serious. He's not going to waste his time on it. Okay.
I'm sorry, and Diesel, I was sent a couple clips of Diesel's stream. I was actually with my girlfriend and working on homework while that was going on, so I wasn't really paying attention, but I was sent a couple clips where he went over to.
Wait. I know I said I didn't care about the age gap earlier. Homework? Homework? I'm joking. Okay, I'm joking.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And he said that he didn't really care that I didn't send him the evidence of yandere dev admitting to certain things. And I'm like, why the fuck did you make it a part of your video, homie? Like, if this, like, why did you try to accuse me of holding this for something special? And then he says that, like, it wasn't many months later. Actually, no, it was 6 months later after the police report. Yeah, it was many months later. So it's like, I'm not going to continue engaging with this. This is unapproachable. It's ridiculous. If he makes another video, I don't really care. Like, I feel like the audience has spoken in many cases. I saw in the response to some tweets trying to call me out, like, incredible ratios of we do not give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel very vindicated, and I feel I never got the support last year. So
Well, yeah. What I will
it feels
say.
a lot better.
Oh, go ahead. My apologies.
No, it feels a lot better, and I feel a lot more confident.
Mhm.
So
Well, that's good.
and I'm not saying I was perfect. No way, shape, or form. Yeah, no, I fucked up. I
Mhm.
fucked up in many ways throughout all of this. But at the same time, there's no. Come on now.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said again, I think that the onus is more to she has to show more or prove more.
He feels totally vindicated. Okay. Let's go on, because he does talk about stuff a little bit extra, okay?
And to be honest with you, when it comes to something as serious as sexual assault, I'm not quite sure how that goes forward. That's why I want a police report. If there is a police report, I can take this more seriously. That's what I want to know is why nobody is saying, why didn't you go to the police? This is a crime. He can go to jail for it. Why didn't you go to the police?
The problem is the state where this occurred was in Pennsylvania, where the age of consent is 16.
Okay.
So good luck.
Although we did travel over state lines. Again, I think the legal argument is ridiculous, okay? I'm not particularly interested in it. But if he's going to bring it up, it gets hairy. Because he did have communications and then travel over state lines. He's admitted that it wasn't a heat of the moment passion thing. He was actually flirting with her for a month previously before going and meeting up with her. So.
Okay. Oh, so it didn't even happen in Florida.
No.
Okay.
No, I was with family in Pennsylvania.
I see. Okay. Even still, it's just like, if there was a police report, because again, I just a little bit of background about me. I have covered multiple different situations where, and these are mostly VTubers, because most VTubers are terminally online mentally ill women, where most of them have some form of regret of a sexual relationship that they've had with another guy on the internet. I'm serious. That's most VTuber call out docs fall into a couple categories. In sexual assault, that turns out to mostly just be regret, is the most common one. And the most common thing I ask is, where's the police report? I've only ever read one where there was a police report out of the myriad of other ones. And it's just like, until I see a police report, I'm not taking this seriously. I just can't. We are out of the Me Too era. We are out of the era where a woman says something and we have to instantly believe it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I fully think that you should look into these things when serious accusations are made. Like, serious accusations deserve to be taken seriously.
I agree.
But you got to take them. There's got to be some serious evidence with some serious accusations. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
And a call where two different conversations are conflated is not really because when I heard that, I was just like, yeah. And by the way, the whole kissing thing was it definitely was a weird situation, but what really happened there was I wasn't forcing her to kiss me. Okay, I want to make that very clear.
Okay.
I asked for one. She gave it to me because she thought that was her way to go home because she was afraid of curfew. That's what was happening.
Okay.
And I just wanted to spend a little bit more time with her because we had 30 minutes and we were 10 minutes away.
Okay. So, to be clear, that's not what was said in the call. which he agreed to, okay? Now, this is the problem, okay? Because this, what he's technically said isn't false. He did ask her for a kiss. He wasn't literally forcing her to do anything. But apparently, it was after 5 minutes of asking. And he apologized, and has apparently recognized that what he did was wrong. But now, he just asked her for a kiss, and she kissed him. And she thought that she had to. And that's all that's being discussed now.
I was like, we could spend like 15 more minutes, but she was like anxious about curfew. That's what was happening.
Okay.
And I was just trying to like, and yeah, I guess like in hindsight, yeah, I was being pushy and I apologized for it. This is like, again, a year and a half old. It's like, this is not really, it was just like an uncomfortable situation a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, yeah.
No, yeah, and it's.
And to be fair to him, okay, I think that probably is. I think that is probably a best summarization of the situation as you can get. Okay, I think that's the best summarization of the situation that you can get. Okay, he was pushy. I'd probably say he was being a bit sex pesty. He was a bit of a sex pest. Okay, hence why there's conversations about being made uncomfortable, pressuring for stuff. I think that's where it comes to. But as she herself said, there was no forceful penetration, so she's not considering it rape. But yeah,
it's just like, again, I have been pretty harsh to the accuser so far, but all I will just say is like, from the outside looking in, from my experience looking at all these, it sounds like there either was some form of regret or there was just something that wasn't talked about. Who knows? The fact of the matter is, I don't feel like people should take this like. If a YouTube video is not taking it seriously, like I said,
this person is inserting regret into it when it was never about regret. At no point has anybody mentioned regret. This is not a rape by regret case. Nobody's mentioning regret. Nobody's bringing up regret. Who's regretting anything?
I hate predator catchers, and I hate people that just report on this shit for the views, and that's all it feels like to me right now. I
think there are some good predator catchers out there. I've always been a Chris Hansen fan.
Well, Chris Hansen's all right. He's fine, but like
I think Jadion does it pretty good. He usually tries to work with police.
Well, that's a little bit. If they work with police, if they actually try and like get involvement with authorities, that's a little bit different. But I'm not really a big fan of.
Like Vitali, like when he just like shaves their head or like forces them to eat a hot chip.
At that point, I don't really believe that that's actually a predator. I believe that that's an act, in my personal opinion. But anyway, just like this whole situation. I don't believe it. And maybe that's a very cruel, that's what people have called me cruel for saying that before, but it's just like, I've been called cruel before for saying I just don't believe something point blank, but it's just like, I have seen enough crazy shit in my life, both personal and on the internet, to know that 9 times out of 10, it's probably just another Pro Jared situation, or probably just a situation where the girl lied, or the girl said something, and then the guy's life is ruined. So I am
Remember, this is the only person who Cameron has gone on live to discuss. People have attempted to just get on an offline call with him whenever, extremely flexible schedule, just saying, could we get a call sometime? And he said, I'm too busy. But there we are.
Wait first and see more before I actually put the guy on a stake. And I'm just not willing to put you on a stake.
Someone up. You just brought someone up, actually. Pro Jared, yeah. I think the pedo accusations stuff is ridiculous, but I think he's fucking weird, though.
Oh, he definitely is.
Yeah,
he definitely is.
That kind of clear. That guy's a weirdo. Yeah, you don't set up a Tumblr for your fans to send you nudes, you fucking weirdo.
Oh, no, absolutely not. That is weird.
How the fuck did you think that was gonna go, buddy?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I agree. No, 100%. But, like, the point I'm just trying to make is I cannot just accept a girl crying on the phone because it's because if one, it feels like they're trying to get the emotional side of me, and two, it's just like it's not good enough. It won't hold. It would not hold up in court. If a guy if a court just heard a woman crying on the phone, like there would need to be more. There would need to be more.
Okay, so I think we can all agree that this person's probably happy to get Cameron on, but they don't know that much about the situation, and so ultimately they're just given a, I don't really know anything about this allegation, but I don't see enough evidence to say that it's rape, so. But that's the extent of their knowledge. There you are. So, yeah. But what I did want to get to, okay, is what should have been the main topic of all the discussion here, okay? Which is the lies that Cameron has told over the course of this, okay? So I saw somebody bring up food shops. Very pertinent to what I'm about to bring up, okay? Consistently, Cameron has tried to lie about her age. Apparently, he doesn't see how there could be any problem with 19 and 16, which, to be clear, I don't think there is. Not inherently. Nothing to condemn over. However, if they did hook up, I thought it was 19 and 17. That's bad, but who cares, lol. Morale says, can I leak this DM? Not to trash on you. Food Shop says, why? What do you mean not to trash on me? Morale says, because Cam might be lying about the age gap. Did he tell you it was 17, 19? Really? Yes. Can I screenshot this and show it? That's not all. Diesel. Yeah, Cam lied about the age gaps in Deorio's Discord server literally the morning before our call. He double-checked. We double-checked to see the ages, and Ann/Jelly would have been 16 based on her birthday. He lied a few times and tried to downplay the age gap a few times. I'm not even saying he's a pedo. That shit wouldn't stick. But like I say at the end, is that him lying about sleeping with her, or sleeping with her still complicates something I knew police were looking at. Feel free to read if you want. And then we go to sections of calls.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I know that she was 16 because her birthday's in February.
I guess so, yeah.
So why'd you just say she was older?
I didn't, like, I forgot, to be quite honest.
Right. So he forgot. Apparently he forgot. That's what he says on the spot. Me. Sorry, I've got a cough. But if we go back to the stream where this claim was first made, 43:52.
Admission in there. I outright say in there that I didn't break it. They're trying to say that I broke the law. It's an admission that I raped a girl or something. There is no admission in there.
So maybe I'm being charitable here, but the argument is you're 19, she's 16. For some people, they say that's just. I know she's 17 now. When did you have sex with her?
I'm not gonna say whether or not I did.
Oh, really? Are you stupid?
Okay. And then he goes on to distract, and then he says Bing chilling. But his explanation for that was given in the call just, that I forgot. I forgot how old she was, okay? Now, when I ask him, towards the end of our DMs together, which I might just I might release, I don't know. At the end of our DMs together, I ask him, okay, so I ask him a few questions, and he says, with all that, I think you got the scoop. I give you 2 more questions, and I'm moving on, Lamau. I said, why did you lie about her age and say that she was 17? To the point, pretty direct. I didn't, lol. She was 17 when I said she was 17. Which isn't that he forgot, but okay. And regardless, at the time we were hanging out, she was near 17. Which is also not true. They met up in October. And her birthday was in February. So it was literally months away from her 17th birthday. But okay. That's really the best you got for the last 2 questions? Come on. You got it. You got one good one left in you. I believe in you. Fuck, I'll just go through this. I say, I think I'm good. He says, you've been mostly good, but That was a silly question. Haha. I'm just poking you, don't worry. I said, why did you bring up your rape and suicidal ideation when asking Diesel to remove the information? And why were you so flattering if you have resentment towards Diesel? I'll go and explain that in a moment. Do you acknowledge that was extremely manipulative and two-faced? Absolutely. And while it wasn't my intention, I totally regret it. I did used to look up to him, and those feelings were raw, but I totally understand how because sort of emotional, because how it became sort of emotionally manipulative, and I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10,000% regret that, and I won't do shit like that again. Banger last question, I'll give you that. Okay, so he does admit that he was being manipulative when he brought up his rape and brought up his suicidal ideation. Now, to the part about him hating Diesel, okay, we're going through my DMs, and I'm just going to point out interesting information, okay? So, first question, you mentioned that you and Jelly had been messaging before you met up at the documentary interview, and that she had been flirty. Now, what he had said before is that she had been flirty with him, and implied that he had never reciprocated. So, how long before you met, that's in October, did that flirting start? He said, maybe a month. And he tries to direct my questioning. He said, I will say, I think our time's better spent talking about the current discourse specifically. I said, don't worry. I'm not just asking for filler info. Had you ever reciprocated the flirting before you met up the second time and had sex? He says, I'm sure at certain points, for sure. I was embarrassed of this and denied that to Diesel. Okay, so that's our first lie. However, if I have a recording, I think I do. This is a log of the beginning of the end, okay? In February, I believe, between Cam and Anne. Is this it? This is it. Okay. Open this with Google. So these are the texts that Cam and Anne shared together, okay? This is not exclusive information. This is already out there, but just a fact check, okay? Babe, I'm sick. I'm throwing up. Lise, please. Missed call. Please trust me, please. It was an accident, I swear to you. I please, just hear me out. Let me explain. Let us work this out. I had no bad intention. Missed call. Please, I beg of you on everything. You're my life. Dude. You screenshotted me, didn't tell me, sent it to a YouTuber to make me look bad. Cameron says, no. You don't accidentally send 3 messages. That's not what I did, okay? So, to be clear, he says, I'm sure I reciprocated once or twice. Maybe he's talking about the lead up. He's calling her babe. Asking them, let us work this out. And saying, you're my life. Anyway. Again, I do not care about the relationship drama, and I don't care about the age difference, okay? The only thing that I think I care about is the fact that he's lying constantly. I'm fairly sure he said they were exclusive at some point. She mentions that. She brings up the fact that he had said that they're exclusive before she found out that she went off with some other girl, okay? But he has referred to this as a hookup. He's talked about this as a hookup. He's painted it as something that happened in the heat of the moment. He's referred to this as a situationship. Okay. Oh, yeah. But he was in that group chat. Did he contest that? I don't believe so. Okay. So, I was about to this and denied this to Diesel. At the time, me and this girl were honestly trauma bonding. Hard relates on what we were both going through. Okay. Regard to the flashing. The image was sent. I tried to ask about this. You can read the DMs. They're on the screen, okay? Apparently, he screenshotted himself while he was on a video call. Thank you for the DM. Okay, I'll go through those in a second. With regards to this whole thing about a picture being sent, okay? Was he in his pants? Did he have his cock out? From everything that I've been able to see, it seems pretty consistent. He sent a picture of him in his pants. He denies having an erection. Apparently it was just funny that he was wearing banana pants. I mean, whatever. I could imagine a 19-year-old lad doing that, okay? This is about him turning on Dev. Asking about the information he submitted to the sheriff's report. Asking about the last time that he spoke. Okay. So this is a little bit interesting because this media is now gone, okay? It says this might be, because the way that he frames this occasionally is that he's going there, he's not on Dev's side, he's very anti-Dev at this point, and he wants to get to the bottom of things. He wants to get to the truth of what's gone on with this 16-year-old girl, okay? So I say, this might be one of the deleted videos, but was the in-person interview used in a video/documentary, or was that project scrapped? Also, was it recorded with video or just audio? He said scrapped. Some of it was included in my privated response. Okay. Do you remember what parts were included? They were mainly talking about her experience with Ali and why they decided to come after me. Okay. Fair. What was the level of your relationship after that day? We never really went beyond friends, but there was a short situationship going on for sure. Again, referring to somebody as babe, saying that you're my world, saying we can work this out. Again, being exclusive. This feels like more lies. Lies on top of lies. And so I asked this question. Were you just friends? Did you use pet names? Did you say you loved each other? Did you see yourself as an item? Was it just a one-off? He said it was a fling, but it wasn't that deep. They did use pet names, okay? Because here's the problem that I'm having. I know that Cameron has lied already in these, and I know from looking at the evidence that he has a propensity to lie. And so some of these questions are irrelevant, but they're just to see what his story is now and if he's going to lie, okay? Welcome, Goat Cato Raiders. Okay. Okay. And here is where we get to what I think is probably the meat of things, okay? So that's fair. You mentioned on the MamaOck live stream that you did lie to Diesel about being blackmailed by Anne to say that you had sex. Is that a fair summary? He says, not about being blackmailed specifically, but I did lie to him and say me and Anne didn't have sex. The blackmail is real. I wasn't honest on what it was over. Said, okay. I asked again for a call. Okay, fair. What were you blackmailed into doing / saying? Defending her from her past. Like she was trying to get me into getting Diesel not to cover her past. Says, was she explicitly blackmailing you when she requested that from you? Yes. Was this over call or text? Call. Were you recording? Couldn't find the recording, which is why it's not in the document. Did she blackmail you into deleting the recordings? Because this is something he's claimed. At the time, she also forced me into deleting recordings about her admissions. Is that part of the blackmail? It's really not clear. I said, or did she blackmail you into deleting the recordings? Or was that a further lie in the story about you lying about having sex with her? Because he's lying about having lied. So this all gets very convoluted, okay? But I will guide you through. So, oh, gotcha. Why did you decide to spin this story to Diesel? He said, embarrassed. Plus, he kind of betrayed me in the past by leaking certain private shit, kind of pissed me off. Not claiming to be in the right there, though. So can you expand on what you mean by embarrassed? I was embarrassed by the whole situationship. I won't act like it didn't dawn on me how strange it was for this to happen after my ex-boss groomed her. At the same time, many would say he groomed me as well, starting at 15 when he would go close to me. We kind of trauma bonded. It's embarrassing. Would you say that Alex groomed you? Just trying to get him on the record saying definite yes or no. Not, you know. Many would say, what do you think? Okay. As time passes, more and more, I'd say yeah, probably. What makes you say that? I mean, like, I started working for him at 15 after being a fan of his game for 5 years. So other places he says 4 years. Is he overinflating it now? I think so. I think it's 4 years and he's just overinflating it. Interesting, isn't it? That when it's in his favor, he will round down. And then when it's in his favor, he will round up. It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? Anyway. I looked up to him. He grew a friendship with me and wanted to defend him. He lied to me and I believed him. By that time, I was an adult and I thought he was a good person. That was until 2023. Okay. So to be clear, what he's saying there, I was a young lad. He was older. We became friends. I defended a friend. Many people would say he was groomed, though. Okay. Okay, and then I move on. Is it fair to say you held a level of resentment since Diesel betrayed your trust? Yes. I still wanted to like Diesel. I used to respect him years ago. So how do you respond to the argument that you only asked Diesel to retract this information because you were worried it would jeopardize what you thought would be a big break for you? So I think it's reasonable for people to think that. However, truth be told, I did not expect the video to blow up at all. He was my closest commentary connection, so I reached out for feedback on my video. I wasn't trying to pressure him or force him. I wasn't trying to pressure him or force him. One sec. Whoa, why am I going to the bottom of the document? Anyway. Why did you bring up your rape and your suicidal ideation when speaking to Diesel to remove the information? And why were you so flattering if you have a resentment towards Diesel? Do you acknowledge that was extremely manipulative and two-faced? Absolutely. And while it wasn't my intention, I totally regret it. I did used to look up to him, and those feelings were raw, but I totally understand how it became sort of emotionally manipulative. And I 100% regret that, and won't do shit like that again. Anyway, going back. I wasn't trying to pressure or force him. I know you've read that, Kevin Melk. Do you... That was for... Never mind. Chat is full of fucking retards, okay? I say, that doesn't make sense to me. So what he says, what do you mean? That how could proving the blackmail connect with removing... how could proving the blackmail connect to removing information about the situationship? That because there are aspects of the situationship that were being fabricated that I corroborated due to blackmail. That I thought the blackmail only pertained to trying to get Diesel to remove sections of the video. He says nope, but that was the most common reason. It related to many different aspects. A lot of them were smaller. However, so I can understand the confusion. Okay. So now that he's had to admit that he lied initially about the blackmail, he still maintains that there was blackmail, but now the blackmail relates to many different aspects, and a lot of them were smaller. Okay. So, you're trying to say you initially went to Diesel with the intent to be honest about the extent of the blackmail, but ended up lying. He said, yeah, pretty much. I said, when? And why did you decide to lie? So I was operating thinking I still had the recording. As I was talking to him and thinking back on the situation, I felt extremely embarrassed and decided instead of going point by point on what was and wasn't due to blackmail, I just say it's the whole thing so I can move away from this embarrassing thing. It was dumb, bad move. Okay. However, I do just want to bring up the call, okay? Now again, with a lot of this, there's no definitive way to say that he's lying. He's talking about his own personal mental state, okay? However, I'll play the beginning of the call on the 5th of the 5th, and I'll ask you if you think it was reasonable that he went in with the intention of being honest, and then it became too difficult, and he decided to lie because he had to.
What could you possibly be calling me with now?
Yo, what's up, man? How you been?
I'm good, Cameron. What's up?
Of all things I could be contacting you for, what do you think I am contacting you about?
I really don't want to answer that question. So do you just want to tell me why?
I really want you to. Well, first of all, no. Actually, I'll let you answer.
This is somebody who he has a strong level of resentment to, by the way.
No, you just spit it out. What's up?
No. Brooklyn's finest, bro. Answer. I've had your coffee, by the way. Good shit.
I did not know that. Okay.
I didn't put it under my name.
Yeah, I
you can hear the hate
anyway,
in his voice.
Okay.
So, yes, that was me. But I did have that was good shit. Anyways, and by the way, I actually was very impressed by. I'm like one of those guys that's in like, what do you think I'm calling you about?
Oh, he asks him again. What do you think I'm calling you about? Pardon me.
Oh, I don't know, man. Because what you're a free man from Yandere Dev. That's all like a year ago now.
Yeah, I have been for a while. Also, I should probably be very clear about this. I wanted to tell you this a while back, and I think now I can finally explain this. I did not have sex with Jelly. Okay. The reason I said that, the reason I was pressured into saying that, was because she had blackmailed over me over something that happened to me when I was younger, and I didn't want it out. And she was trying to force me into this weird thing. It doesn't matter. I don't care anymore because I have proof of her blackmailing me now.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. I didn't have.
Okay, so he doesn't care anymore because now he has proof of her blackmailing him, despite the fact that this call happened 12 days ago, and we have no evidence of her blackmailing him. Also, yes, this is a lie. This is a lie. He lies to Diesel here. But the reason why I'm playing you this, okay? The reason I'm playing you this is because of this. As I was talking to him and thinking back in the situation, I felt extremely embarrassed and decided, instead of going point by point on what was and wasn't due to blackmail, I just say it's the whole thing so I can move away from this embarrassing thing. It was dumb, bad move. So he doesn't say that it's the whole thing. He just says, I didn't have sex with her, by the way. And it's not during the course of a conversation about it. This is how he introduces the conversation about the whole Yandere Dev situation. So, but I'll leave it to you to decide whether he lied or not. Okay? Dickers, just to clarify, did Cameron say he lied to Diesel what the blackmail is, or that the blackmail exists at all? So, what the blackmail is regarding has remained consistent. The fact that he is being blackmailed has remained consistent. He hasn't been able to find any evidence of the blackmailing, though, and no evidence of blackmailing has ever come out before. But he's saying that exactly what he was being blackmailed over, in terms of what he was compelled to do by the blackmail, he lied about that, okay? So, it actually had nothing to do with whether they had sex or not. the blackmail actually had to do with him trying to defend her and lie to corroborate her events, to say that she didn't do things. He's extremely vague about what the blackmail is and isn't pertaining to. He never says anything explicit. It seems to be that he's alluding to the honeypot stuff and that he lied in her benefit about the honeypot stuff, potentially. Not exactly sure, because he never says, okay? Which is why, to this day, I'm willing to be wrong on this, okay? And this is an intuition. This is a gut feeling. Ask me to prove it, and I can't, okay? I'm not convinced at all that there was any blackmail. I'm not convinced at all there was any blackmail, okay? And the extent to which I say that isn't like an offhanded comment one time, if everyone's going to know my business, everyone's going to know your business, right? He says that she explicitly blackmailed him and then told him to do things. Anyway. And just to clarify, when he calls Diesel before the first video, he specifically asks not for the situationship to be released. He does ask that he and Anne, or he and Jelly, not be included in it, but specifically, he references the situationship. And so even then, he's trying to get that part removed. Okay, so I say, but you didn't say it was the whole thing. You specifically said she blackmailed you into lying about the sex. Be honest, mate, you went to Diesel with the intention of lying to him. Right. He said, in our calls, we went into detail about other aspects she made me say for her benefit. Did he? I don't know. He says no. But I did lie to him. So which call on the 9th? He said yes. And this lie wasn't career motivated? Question mark. He says, I'm pretty sure it was in my mindset, but mainly I was embarrassed more than anything. He said, you say that like you don't know what you were thinking at the time. This was less than 2 weeks ago. He says, buddy, I just told you what I was thinking. I was embarrassed. When I say I'm pretty sure it was part of my mindset, I meant like subconsciously. Okay. So I understand being embarrassed is reasonable. No one wants their personal life details about that. But the question would be, why you came to ask this from Diesel now rather than before? So there are several answers he could give. He's given the fact that now he has proof. Okay. Now he feels emotionally ready. I think it's pretty clear that it was because of the video being released. But hey ho. He says the call initially was to ask his opinion on the video. Not what I asked, but okay, seems evasive. The most obvious factor seems to be the success of your latest video. I'm sure you see where the suspicion comes from. So the first call was prior to the video's release. So incorrect, my friend. I wanted his feedback. Now he is correct there. The first call was prior to the video's release. He was asking for feedback on it. It was like going to be like a big project for him. But yeah. I'm asking about the request to censor his video. It says, however, we had one thing we both had going on a year back. However, we had this one thing we both had going on a year back. I figured I'd get some things out I felt I should tell him about my testimony. I felt embarrassed as well, and I wasn't completely honest with him. That was if I could find proof of the blackmail, if he wanted to. I'm not denying the whole idea of reaching out to him at all wasn't done. So this seems to be a sort of reframing as well, which might be natural, but he's very manipulative, and so I am going to point out, most of the times that he does it. I said, have you put any more effort into looking for the blackmail recordings? He says, yes. Says the bit, okay. And I ask about the bit where he picks up Jelly just to ask again, and he says, yeah, it was just a hug. He says they were in public, but there weren't other people around, so they're outside, and it wasn't on the kissing situation, okay? And that's when we get to, why did you lie? I didn't lie. Okay? And then, yeah, admitting to being emotionally manipulative. But that's that. Now, with the facts in hand, okay? With the facts in hand, let's go and maybe have another look at what he said in his call when he was trying to get the video deleted. Or the information retracted, sorry.
That's actually her. I wasn't interested in her. I met her to interview her.
Ah, okay. So this is a further lie that frankly has nothing to do with being embarrassed, okay? I never had sex with her. I wasn't interested in her. Again, another unnecessary lie. The only reason why he would want to say this is because he doesn't want any of this information out anymore, and he wants to sweep it away. This has got nothing to do with correcting information that he said because he was blackmailed.
If you really care, if you care that much, I could prove it. I wanted to make that clear, mainly because like optically it was weird, and the reason that was all out, and the reason like the RO Sauna like subreddit like cleared my name is because I took the punch essentially, and the details of which were recorded by her unknowingly, and I hadn't told my family about this, and nowadays like I'm more open about it, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was really closeted about it, I guess.
I like how there's no mention of eating out or anything sexual when discussing picking her up. Very retarded. That part is genuinely confusing. That part is genuinely confusing. The best that I could come up with is that she's alleging, potentially, a different course of events where he's trying to read her out and then she hits him. The only similarity between those two stories is she's hitting him to get him off her.
That was like just embarrassing to me. And I mean nowadays it's like whatever, because like I'm not like I guess I'm not worried about like but like at the time I was kind of like it made me insecure.
Yeah.
And she knew, she played on that, and she made me say something else in order because it helps her get out of something with another dude that she was with. I don't know. It was retarded, but no, I didn't do that. And I have proof of it. That's besides the point. The real reason I'm calling you is because I need your input on something.
Okay, and then he talks about his video. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Okay, here we are. There we are.
Yeah, I dumped a little bit, but I low-key did want to tell you that because like
why didn't you tell me she was blackmailing you when it happened? It would have obliterated her. It would have been nothing. But I understand that you were like under duress about something like pretty sensitive, and I get that. But you know the alternative was her trying to paint you out as a statutory rapist.
Yeah, the real reason was because my family was paying close attention to my online activity at the time because I was expressing some suicidal ideation.
Mm-hmm.
And I come from a very religious Christian family, and it was a very traumatic experience that I'm not comfortable with my family knowing to this point. And I was uncomfortable telling you because I knew you had this platform of, you know, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people even. And even though I knew the thought, like, because I thought, like, okay, morally, like.
So the important thing to remember is, in this moment, he knows that he's lying. He knows that he's lying. She didn't blackmail him just to tell this story about having sex. She didn't blackmail him to say that at all, okay? But now, he's going into, I was suicidal and I had this awful thing happen to me and there's so much trauma and my family is like very Christian and blah, 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 blah. But it's a lie. And it's purely a story that he's whipping up. Maybe there's truth to it. I don't know. Is there really trauma in his past? I don't know. Because the only time that it seems to come up is when he's talking and trying to get closer to a girl and then when he wants somebody to remove something in a video. So, is that even true? He lies so much. I'm not even sure. To be truthful, to be honest, okay?
If I get outed that I had sex with a 17-year-old at 18, 19.
A 17-year-old at 18, 19. Fascinating. So now, you know, if I get outed that I had sex with a 17-year-old when I was like, 18, 19, it's 16 years old and you were 19. She was firmly 16 and you were firmly 19. But, okay.
I don't really care, right? That's whatever.
Oh, you don't really care.
At the time,
you don't really
I thought it was
care.
weird because I didn't realize like the statutes and shit. Now I'm like, fuck. Like I realize it now because I looked into it and like people told me when I told the Arosana moderators, I was like, oh, you realize that you falsely admitted to something that could be held against you, right? I was like, what, really? And
so now there's this whole story about how he didn't care initially about what he was being blackmailed over, and he only realized later the consequences of what he'd done and said as a result of being blackmailed.
Yandere drama, like during the midst of it, I was heavily abusing alcohol.
How's that necessary?
Relevance? And nowadays I'm abstinent from it, but at the time it was rampant. The second I learned of what he did, I was in the bottle. And I had to go to rehab.
What I find incredibly interesting, the person most concerned with the age gap is Cameron, even when in private. I don't think it's a private-public thing, okay? I don't think it's a private-public thing. I think the only reason why he cares sometimes about the age gap is when he can try to impress upon Diesel just how impactful this is going to be, that he told this lie. Please, can you delete that part of the video? I need you to take it out. People are going to rake me over the coals. I might, I thought it's fine initially, but then, the r/Osara mods told me that it might be illegal, despite the fact that whether it is illegal, he thinks is, too ridiculous to even mention. But less than 2 weeks before, apparently it was very pressing to him to mention that it could have been a confession to a crime. He says what's most necessary for him to say in the moment. It's not a private-public thing.
It was a bad situation. It was like really fucked up. I mean, I was really like tied to him.
Yeah.
Like I trusted that guy. And like therapy kind of told me that he low-key groomed me. So that was something I
forgot what you said about
the
grooming.
It's funny because everyone told me that, and I was like, nah. And then like when you hear it from like a professional's mouth, you're like, oh fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like looking back on it, I'm just like, god damn, that guy is fucking like, oh my god.
So what's he said so far? I was blackmailed. I have proof. I was groomed. Low key. I was abusing alcohol. I have family trauma. Deeply conservative family I was raised up in. He's spent however many minutes just detailing everything that is frankly irrelevant, except for the purpose of getting sympathy.
Malicious. Like I even now, especially now, I can't even there's no charitability I can really give anymore. A part of me still like wants to give him that like benefit of the doubt that he was just autistic. It was involuntary. He didn't know what he was doing. He couldn't understand tone. But then like that sanity kicks in, and I'm like, he was 36. Like.
I do not want to hear this guy blather on about Dev anymore. I mean, just another one.
This might be controversial.
Hit me.
Sorry, switching.
Yeah.
Like, I was a fan of his, and I grew up with ADHD.
Okay, cool. We're just picking up all the little juicy bits of sympathy, okay? He grew up with sympathy. He grew up with ADHD. Fucking hell. Okay. Talk about the content cop. Trying to be a leafy. He's name dropping all the people he's talked with. He's talked with Chud Logic, Turkey Tom, Samuel. Okay. Yeah.
Vote in that regard. So. Okay, so that was the main part I was worried about. Is that too cringy? Is that like... No, you know what I mean, though. Like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to, like, actually make a cohesive video.
Don't care.
It's not because she's a hijabi. It's not because she's pro-Palestine.
Not because she's a hijabi. True.
I think this will be fine, Cameron.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anything's gonna explode.
Yeah. And I'm glad I got to get that shit off my chest. I said earlier in the call. That's something I've been holding on to for
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
a year. Yeah.
It's something he's been holding on to for a year. The fact that she blackmailed him into saying that he had sex. Again, his story is completely consistent. The only thing that he ever brings up during this is being blackmailed into saying that he did have sex. There's never anything else
I was kind of shocked
mentioned.
you bought it.
What do you mean?
That's an interesting phrase. That's an interesting phrase. Now, Now, to be clear, I don't want to hang him for this, okay? It could just be an innocent phrasing issue. It totally could be, okay? But let's just say that again.
Yeah.
A year. Yeah. I was kind of shocked you bought it.
What do you mean?
That you thought I would do that? Like, a part of me was like...
Nice save.
Just gonna accept that?
Are you fucking serious, given everything surrounding?
I was kind of surprised that you bought it, you know? That lie about me having sex? Do you think I would do that?
I don't
That'd be
even know if you're 100%
disgusting.
telling me the truth now, but I don't have any other reason to fight you on it either, so...
I can't blame you for not believing, like, what I'm telling you.
But on top of that, I mean, you know, again...
But at the
you
same
also work
time,
with
there's no...
yandere dev, despite everybody's best intentions of telling you to stop.
They weren't telling me to stop, they were telling me to be careful. And I said, I mean, okay, I feel like I know what I was also 15. Saying like, oh, I got it, you know, yeah, just shut up, I know. Like, so like, but at the same time, like, there's no fucking way. That fucking little gremlin? No! After Krexa? No!
Ain't no way he's having
But,
sex with
to
that
be
little
charitable,
gremlin.
I understand why it would, you may have a hard time believing.
Men also have a tendency to repeat the same stupid sexual mistakes.
I had a girlfriend.
On top of that,
gonna
going to meet that girl at all is such a fucking...
Was a
fire hazard.
horrible move. Horrible move.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck did I do that? Like, at the time, it made sense. Now, I'm like, are you fucking... Why the... Like, oh, man. Like, and that's something I had to, like, kind of gripe with. Like, I made a really impulsive, dumb decision. And I'm going to have to go through the motions until I can get out of this. And I'm not worried anymore. Like, I am in a position where, like, I have all the cards I need. Were something to happen. Where I need them. And, like, fuck. If she tried to say anything about me, like, I have her blackmailing me on video, audio.
Does he? Does he? Again, I'll remind you, 12 days ago, he said this. We still have nothing. No text, no audio, no video, nothing.
Anything about me, like, I have her blackmailing me on video, audio, everything.
Oh.
You know, months later, she tried calling me. The thing is, she wanted something with me because I was there for her during that situation.
She wanted something with
and I
you.
said, that's inappropriate. I'm not willing to do that.
That's inappropriate. I'm not willing to do that. Interesting.
And, I mean, like, she low-key scared me. I didn't want anything to do with her. So I...
Yeah, that girl should be in a nut house.
Absolutely. There were times I tried to get in contact. Like, there was a point where I tried to get in contact with Child Protective Services. Where I've talked to other people I haven't spoken to in a year. like this is all kind of happening at the same time.
Mm.
You know, he actually tried to message me a couple months ago.
Really?
As like the main person, like if there was one person, like if I had one like ticket, I guess, to remove a video from the internet, it'd be Calimara's video.
Mm.
And at that point, my lawyer sent it out, and I said, either you remove, you know, the slanderous material and make a public statement saying that you were lying, or we're gonna go further on this. And then they counteroffered a settlement. I said I want at least, you know, X amount of money, and then they counteroffered. I think I said $4,500. They counteroffered $3,000. I was only hoping to get $1,000 out of it, mainly, but I highballed it. I mean, that's typically what you do.
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but yeah. I have seen the email that got sent for some kind of lawsuit about defamation. And to be honest, it did not sound like it was sent by a lawyer. It sounded like it was written and sent by a 19-year-old boy. But, you know, that's just me, you know, so. It is what it is. It is what it is. Should we go through call 2? I think we probably should, actually. Yeah, that's going to be quite important. So, context for this. This is a few days later. The video's popping off. He's having other people kind of like talk about the video. It's starting to get more traction. And yet still, he's having people bringing up this this video, okay? And the things contained within it. So this is a little bit more forceful. But let's go into this. But before we do, okay, we've hit the 2-hour mark. I just want to remind everyone who's watching, we've got about 90 viewers here to like the stream, okay? I'd really appreciate it. 36. We've even got 36. Okay, that's a little bit despicable. That's a little bit despicable, okay? We need to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers, okay? If you want to take it one step further, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, why not? Takes 2 seconds. If you want to take it even another step further, super chat, super sticker, channel membership, buying one for yourself, gifting them to other people. There are so many ways to put money in my pocket, okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's get on to call 2.
Yo. Oh, ooh.
Is it bad?
Oh no, it was just like a little like crackly for a second. I think what you're putting in a mic or something, or
I think I fucked with my cord a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of been dreading this.
Okay, bro, you're getting too big for your boots.
Yo, Big Aaron
tipped $2 through super chat. I will not donate.
Thank you very much for the £2.
Yeah, I know you messaged me and then you deleted the message.
Yeah, I don't know. I like. It's not. It's more so. It's just like it goes over like 2 things that I like never want to rehash like ever. Like, well, one of them I like, took years of therapy, obviously, but the other one is just like, that was a shitty thing. Like, that was just really anxious time.
I mean, you came to me to relitigate it, really.
Yeah, I did. I don't know why. I guess I felt like I could kind of trust you in a way. I don't think you would go out and tell people like this, you know, thing that happened to me that I am uncomfortable with people knowing. And like, you know, I think you would understand.
Again. He tried, he failed to get Diesel to take out that part of the video. In fact, remember, that is the first thing that he actually dove into when he called Diesel the first time, okay? Is to get that part removed and to let him know about this blackmail situation going on. And now he's getting a call again. What's he want to talk about?
And especially having dealt with the situation and knowing the people involved, why? Like, you know, I think, and you know, I also at that time actually did want feedback on my video. Like that was.
Yeah, I mean, your video's been successful, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I expected maybe 30K views tops. So this has been very overwhelming for sure, in a good way. Of course, you know, it got relitigated. So, but it doesn't seem to be catching much traction.
To be clear, I didn't hear any of this discourse until he contacted Diesel, tried to lie, and then Diesel was like, oh, okay, well, he wants to come into commentary. He can't keep to a consistent story. Okay, cool. Let's make a video about it, going over it again. Because what you do as like a subject of a story, okay, is one thing. What you do then as somebody who was the subject of a story and is now trying to become a commentator, trying to emotionally manipulate people in private calls to get stuff about you don't like out there taken down, right? Lying to do so, trying to do it privately, not discussing this publicly, and then as soon as it does get out into public, you're broadly not believed. Don't address any of the blackmail stuff, okay? Don't talk about any of the blackmail stuff in your response document. I mean, you know, and when you go into public live streams, just say, that's not even worth talking about, all right? Maybe you can let that stew, and then 2 days later, you can say, yeah, I'm kind of, you know, I'm trying to move on now. I don't really want to talk about any of this. You know, it's been all hashed before. It's not. It's not. And it's because I think he knows that nobody buys this blackmail story. Nobody buys the change story. And everyone's going to realize very quickly that he lies and spins narratives just to benefit himself. He's a totally manipulative piece of shit, okay? And don't forget, Diesel, somebody who he has resentment towards. He resents the guy.
To be honest, both sides of the Ethan, Hassan, idubbbz, they don't know about Yandere Dev. They don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's just a different part of the internet.
They're trying. Like Leftovers H3, like the Snark people, they've definitely tried. People have been like, hey, I saw this.
Mm.
But then, like, what's funny is most of the YouTubers that they try to tell already know. Like, they already know.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't care. They know it's like, they know it's either bullshit or it's like, I really wasn't a big part of that.
They know that you like work for Dev.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, because I was in like the commentary space briefly for a while.
Yeah.
And a lot of them I already spoken to. Yeah, sorry, I'm talking, I'm rambling because.
So why don't, okay, so when it happened, you gave me like the story and actually like walk me through what actually happened based on our last call where it's like, oh, I was being blackmailed to say that.
Okay, so he's going to go into the story a little bit more. Now is his opportunity to say, well, okay, I lied about that, but you know, I just want to correct the record. Nicholas already knew and didn't care, okay? I don't think that's true, okay? From everything that I've seen, that isn't true. So let me just pull up a couple things about that. Now, I've heard that very, very quickly, when Nick found out about it, okay? This was his comment, okay? Cameron right now, I got a summary from Smaggle, lol. And then this was his take. So he got kicked from Nick's private Discord, and then, yeah, what a waste of talent. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great when you're a commentary creator, or at least trying to be, and then decide that you're going to go behind the scenes, lie, manipulate, emotionally posture, talk about how suicidal you are, talk about how I've got all this trauma and I spoke to a therapist and I was getting drunk every night and I grew up with ADHD and I've never owned shoes that fit quite right. I've always got blisters. Okay. To be clear, the only reason why I'm talking so irreverently about it is I don't believe any of this. I don't believe any of the story that he gives. Do I think it's all bullshit? No. I'm not confident enough to say I believe he is lying. I'm just saying I don't buy it, personally. I'm not convinced.
So what essentially happened was me and her were like getting close. That all was true. And it was very obvious to me that she liked me. Are you recording this?
Of course I am. And you should be too.
I should be, but you're not going to release it? I don't know what I'm going to do with the 10-hour conversation.
Why would it be bad if it was to be released, eh? Why would it be bad if it was to be released? Is it because you're about to try and spin a yarn, maybe? Maybe about to lie a little bit? Just a teeny tiny little bit? Also, if he's blackmailed this girl, it's been exposed. Or sorry, if this girl has blackmailed him, what he said has been exposed to the public, and the public is now aware that he's talking about the blackmail that he suffered. Why isn't she following through on this threat? None of this makes sense. Not a single part of this makes sense.
Station goes.
I've said it before, this kid reminds me of all the retarded soccer bros I knew in college. Okay, to be clear, I want to say this, okay? I want to say this, and I want you to listen, okay? This kid, okay, is 21. We're about the same age. This guy's the same age as Morale. This guy is older than Aiden is. He's not a kid, okay? He's an adult. He's choosing to do this as an adult, okay? Stop giving the retard defense just because he looks like, I don't know, a trans man or a child, okay?
Whatever. I won't go.
Morale would not get caught, though?
Too deep. As long as you don't, like...
Put the part about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need to do that.
Okay, I appreciate that. At the very least. I mean, obviously I would be uncomfortable with the conversation getting out, but I mean, whatever.
So he's trans. Apparently he was a trans woman for a little while, but no.
Basically, we were close. We got close, and this was obviously before I knew about her past.
I believe Diesel says that Jelly is active again, and no one should contact or reply to her. I'm not sure if that's true. To be clear, I'm not sure if she's active again, and I'm also not sure if Diesel has said that no one should try and contact her, or what the context behind that is. I'd be open to hearing about that, but I'm just not sure.
There were times I was trying to get out of it, where like I would be like, okay, I can't handle this anymore. I need to send this. I need to prove it. I need to send some evidence that this person's malicious.
You do.
And then I would walk back on it, out of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And because
so you've kind of gone back and forth on this quite a lot. Wow. Okay. Damn. So surely, with all this time thinking about it, over the last year and a half, you've probably had a decent amount of time to look for that evidence then, huh?
As
so where is it?
Became more and more unturned, things got different. Now, we definitely were friendly, and we definitely got close.
Uh-huh.
But that was pretty short-lived.
We were close, but that was pretty short-lived. Babe, I'm sick. I'm throwing up. Lise, please. Missed call. Please trust me, please. It was an accident. I swear to God. Let me explain. Let us work this out. I had no bad intent. Please. I beg of you on everything. You're my life. We were not that close. Okay.
It lasted maybe a month or two. Once January hit, like, we were not on good terms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this is a difficult thing. Because I'm going purely on witness testimony. Okay? Purely on witness testimony. But I've heard that one of the times that he was saying, oh, she was 17, is she turned 17 during their relationship. Which would mean that they were dating well into February. What's the truth of that? It's impossible to tell because he's a complete liar. So, she's commented on his stream and video, but the reality is that she's an unreliable narrator. So we know the risk. So we know the risk of using her as a source. So Diesel says he wants to use Cameron's word against Cameron. That's fair.
Yeah.
And it obviously, like,
there was like she was recording everything I was saying. She got that on me, and
it's confusing because the alleger is Jelly, but the Jelly person says it's not an allegation. So where do they say that? Okay. Where do they say that? Now, I know what you're gesturing at, okay? I know what you're gesturing at, but that hasn't been quite so clearly stated. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that, okay? Because to be clear, I want to remind people who maybe didn't catch people, okay? Didn't catch me at the beginning of the stream, okay? I don't think that you can prove that this was rape. In fact, I don't think it was rape. At the very most, I think you could maybe say that it's like, well, at the very most you could say it was sexual assault, at least from maybe what I'm piecing together, okay? I would probably just say he seems like he was a bit creepy and he was a sex pest. Maybe still is. I don't fucking know. But he was pestery, okay? He pestered her. He was like asking her for 5 minutes if he could have a kiss from her. And she felt pressured into saying yes, apparently because she had a curfew and wanted to go home. And so she kissed him just so she could leave, apparently. Again, pesty behavior. Rape? No, it's not rape.
It's not like I did anything. It's not like I'm admitting to something crazy. It's just that like that's like extremely personal that I am embarrassed of. Like I wish that never happened, and it's something I just don't want people knowing.
So when did she make that into blackmail?
I think it was around the time when, like, I think it was like later December, where like she was really getting. It felt like she was into me, and I felt uncomfortable with that because I'm not gonna lie to you. At that time, I was just like really not, at that state where I felt like I even wanted to get into something like that. I did feel comforted by her. Like there was definitely aspects where it felt like she was like, or like we were like toting that line. Like that's undeniable. But it was not something I wanted to pursue in any way, shape, or form. And when I made that clear to her, she seemed to have quickly snapped. A lot of jealousy came out because like I had started to talk to a girl that I liked, and she got insecure, jealous, like, and it got really dark really quickly.
Mm-hmm. So over that time, you're bonding with her, and you tell her, this horrible thing happened to me.
Yeah.
Well, why did you tell her that? Just because you felt comfortable?
Well, we were both talking about, these like situations because we had both just gotten out of that crazy situation, right? And then
Okay, to be clear here, my take on this, he's talking to a girl. Everything I'm about to say, okay, is 100% factual, okay? He wanted to do a documentary. He'd done drama content before. He wanted to contact the grooming victim of his former boss. In fact, at the time, I think they were still friendly, okay? So, his at the time boss, I believe, and at the time friend, he wanted to contact the grooming victim of his so that he could have an interview to talk about his boss and the people trying to accuse him. He spoke to that girl privately. He started getting personal with her. She mentioned that she had been the subject of trauma, okay, in her earlier life. And then he decides to extend a personal example of his to this 16-year-old girl, and then trauma bonded with her, went and met up, and had sex with her. So this is supposed to be something that he's somebody who is contacting to do a documentary. So he wants like an interview, and then he's having sex with the interviewee, who is also the grooming victim of his former boss. Like, ignore the fucking age. Don't give a fuck about the age. Every other level of this, very fucking weird. Especially when you start to insert that this may have been well, sex pest behavior on top of that.
She was telling me about
adding in, okay, just in case that I need to explain this anymore, why it's not good for you as a video creator to go and speak to and interview and have sex with somebody who you're interviewing, okay? Because, like Babka says, it's not just weird, deeply unethical. Deeply, okay, there's a conflict there. There's a risk there. Let's not forget, at this time, this girl is having CPS called on her because she's a child, right? She's being doxxed. She's being harassed. All of this is documented on Kiwi Farms. There are narratives spinning about her all over the place, okay? Is there a potential that she thinks by ingratiating herself to him, she can have a better representation in his video? That maybe he can defend her more? We know explicitly that she did want him to defend her. He says that he contacted Diesel on the agreement that she wanted to be defended. And she was facing severe harassment at the time as a 16-year-old. Even if she was an adult. This would be ethically dubious. And this, just with that conflict of interest there, and managing those issues ethically, the fact that she's a child, a 16-year-old, in a position that I would already say is pretty vulnerable. Now, would she have consented otherwise? Maybe. Who can say? Who can look into her head? But it's an incredibly reckless thing to do. And it's an incredibly stupid thing to do. Especially if you want to get into drama, or if you want to get into commentary. It's just, Edwin got fucked for this. By Olivia. No, sorry. Edwin got fucked for this, okay? And for some reason, this is the least important part of the story in the popular discourse at the moment. Deeply fucked. Deeply fucked.
You know, things that happened to her, and and she kind of pried a little bit, and it took a while, but then like we just got into a really emotional conversation. But yeah, it just kind of came out there. We were both venting to one another.
And so you didn't know, and she was recording that? No, she wasn't recording it? Okay.
No, I know she was recording that. I didn't know that she was.
Okay, you didn't know that she was recording it. Okay.
No.
So you guys start to have a falling out in mid-December, give or take, right?
Yeah, around there.
Okay.
It was after the last time we met.
Yeah.
Because things didn't go her way.
And so she comes to you and says, what about this story you tell her?
Essentially, like, the way it went, this was over a call. And I think I recorded the tail end of it. I can try to find that. But essentially, it's over call where she's like, I'm going to fucking ruin your life. You played me. You wanted this from me. You, like, I can just tell this is the way men are. It fucking, like, she knew how that story made me feel about, like, certain parts of me. She knew how insecure it made me. She knew that, like, that's something traumatic that I still deal with. And she's like,
again, if he doesn't want the subject of this trauma getting out, if he's not just using this as sympathy baiting, if this is something he really genuinely cares about, why is he bringing it up so many times? Why doesn't he bring it up just once? You know, sensitive, you know, this is kind of, you know, what I'm being, you know, blackmailed with. Is he being blackmailed at all? Is the information he's given even real? Is he just trying to sympathy bait and emotionally manipulate Diesel? It's very, very hard to say, but what we can say for certain is he's extremely manipulative.
Like, now the world knows this about me. You're going to have to deal with it or work with me. And, like, it was like this weird backwards, I'm going to make you feel the pain I felt because you didn't reciprocate me. And that I was like, this girl's a fucking psychopath.
So again, specifically, the blackmail is regarding, I'm going to make you feel the pain I felt because you didn't reciprocate me. Now, this isn't just a teeny tiny lie, okay? This isn't just like, oh, I lied about this one detail. This is an entire story now being built around this lie. This is how it happened. And she was worried that I didn't reciprocate her feelings. And she was jealous because I had this other girlfriend. And it's just a lie, okay?
And I was just terrified. Fuck. Yeah, it's not something I'm just, it sounds silly talking about it, like I'm so terrified about it coming out, but to me, like, that coming out, what happened, it would be like a game ender for me.
Thank you for
like
spelling this out.
So do you have this on hand, or?
I can look for it. I haven't touched it since I recorded it. I'll have to find it. I'll look right now.
Wait, Kevin Melk, is that real?
Oh, that's the Prexa folder. Oh boy. I know I remember putting it in 2. No, that was hurt me. There's a gap. Where's the folder?
Want to bet the GF found an interlap in dates, and that's what led to the inclusion. Huh. Maybe. I don't know anything about his current relationship, so I'm not sure. He did wear a dress for a Yandere video. Oplock, please. Please send me that video. Hello?
That was a point. I think it was before this where she forced me to, like,
okay,
delete recordings of her admitting to her.
So now he's pressed. He goes in for the first call. He said that he's got evidence, okay? And now he's being asked for it. Diesel isn't just rolling over. He's brought up the suicide twice. He's brought out the childhood abuse twice. He's fired his load, okay? He's spilled his entire load, and it's still not enough. So now he's got to go around and do this, like, do this dog and pony show where he pretends that he's looking for clips
to make me look like shit.
Bearing in mind, he said the reason why he was coming out about this before in the first call was because he had this evidence and he was ready now. Hi, Dickers, I'm here to like the stream and ask what your thoughts. This guy's a manipulative wretch. I don't believe anything he says on face value. And for that reason, I just really don't think that you can, like, make it as a commentary creator. Like, lying this egregiously at this kind of level. You can never give him the benefit of the doubt. Because he's just made himself so untrustworthy. Spinning lie on top of lie on top of lie on top of lie. That, frankly, people are talking about how unreliable Jelly is. He's just as bad. He's just as bad. The only difference between Jelly and him is he's older and he has a public platform. He's just as manipulative and he's just as dishonest.
Yeah, but you chimed in and you said that.
I was getting angry, yeah.
Like, you could have let her say whatever and not say anything.
I wanted to.
If you wanted to, then it just sounds like you were operating on Alex's behalf without knowing everything about what's going on.
When is this in the timeline?
When is that in the timeline?
Yeah.
Group chat is...
If we to judge by Twitter, people haven't actually engaged and just go 19 to 16 isn't that bad, so maybe she can have a small existence. Yeah, that's the most frustrating point. That's why, over this entire thing, have I mentioned the word paedophilia once? The only times that I've mentioned paedophilia is to say that he's not a paedophile. The only times that I mentioned rape is to say, I don't think you can call this rape. I don't believe this is rape. Anybody who's calling him a paedophile is retarded. Anyone who's called him a rapist is retarded, okay? Sex pest. That's the line we're going with, okay? We're going with sex pest.
After my video came out, so sometime after March.
Oh, okay.
So you would have already broken it off with him, and
yeah.
You added us all in because Jelly wanted her to say she didn't like my coverage.
I, for one, thought your coverage pretty good.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Wait, hold on a second. Didn't you... Wasn't there so much, like, resentment? Didn't you have a lot of built-up resentment? What?
I, for one, thought your coverage pretty good.
Oh, I thought he got things wrong. And I thought he was a bad faith actor. I thought he was lying about you. You liked his coverage. Gluck, 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 gluck. Slurp on that cock some more. Speaking of Cameron slurping on cock, what's this? Cameron's 21.
You guys win. You guys win. Here I am. You happy? Are you happy? I got skirt, tights, everything.
I was warned about the skirt. I was not warned about the thigh highs.
You guys win. And I'm doing it behind a green screen so you guys can do all your memes and do whatever you want with me. Are you happy?
This guy is desperate for fucking fame and attention.
You win, okay? Now, there are a few things I need to talk about now that I have your attention. I have a little deal for 23. 3 songs.
Okay, cool. Jesus fucking Christ. Dick is mocks, but this will be him for chat one day. I don't know. I don't know about that, okay? I don't know about that. Thank you to Opblock for sending me that, though.
With a little exception, but...
I mean, feel however you want, but, you know, like...
I mean, you had the
information. You said.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. I don't blame you.
Oh.
In any way, shape, or form.
You don't blame him in any way, shape, or form. Again, you say you have a lot of resentment towards the guy. He's a bad actor.
And in this group chat, you're, I guess, operating under duress. And so you're saying that you're saying and agreeing with Jelly that she didn't really participate in honeypotting, and that was a lie. So was the honeypotting real or not?
It was real.
So it was real?
That call was authentic.
Mm.
She wanted me to make it seem like it wasn't.
Mm.
She wanted me to look bad as well. So there was 2 sides of it. She wanted me to look like I was, you know, still tied, did all these, like, fucking whatever. And at the same time, she wanted that off her shoulders because she was afraid of repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on.
She wanted me to make it seem like it wasn't.
Mm. So it was real?
That call was authentic.
Mm.
She wanted me to make it seem like it wasn't.
Mm.
She wanted me to look bad as well. So there was 2 sides of it. She wanted me to look like I was, you know, still tied, did all these, like, fucking whatever. And at the same time, she wanted that off her shoulders because she was afraid of repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of hoping that she would get repercussions so I could finally, like, dump. But
yeah, she responds to one of my messages saying Sims 4 DLC to say we didn't meet up or that he didn't do anything bad to me. So that's her when she accused you of rape.
Yeah, remember that.
Mm.
Which, again, didn't happen.
Whoa! She didn't accuse him of rape. Diesel, actually, fact check. She didn't accuse him of rape during that. She accused him of not rape, in fact, so far as I remember. Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Uno momento. Uno momento. Okay. This is in the same chat. So, yeah, there we are. Sims 4 DLC to say we didn't meet up, or that he didn't do anything bad for me. He did do some things, but he apologized and made up for them, so I've forgiven him. Cam says, and none of it was rape. He wants to make sure everyone knows, okay? None of it was rape. And she doesn't even go on to deny that. In fact, half an hour later, she says, I didn't make a public accusation. The detailed what he did. Bum bum bum. It wasn't rape. I don't think it fits the definition. There was no forceful penetration. So no, in that conversation, she doesn't say that he raped her.
She was she did try to get Sims 4 out of me. She got it once or twice. But that wasn't for
Kevin Malk, if you got a link to the full chat log, I'd love to see it. But I haven't seen that elsewhere.
anything that she was fucking describing.
Yeah. You respond to it and you say, and none of it was rape in all caps.
It's true.
Uh-huh. That's true.
I had a line.
What do you mean?
I had a line with her. I said, listen, I'll work with you, but you're not going to accuse me of rape.
Mm-hmm.
I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but I had a line.
He had a line, okay? Again, whole narrative made out of nothing. Just this is all a story he's spinning. Oh, yeah, well, you know, when she blackmailed me, you know, I mean, obviously, she did go further and, like, say, but that was my line, okay? That was my line. Dude. Again, if it was one teeny tiny lie, that would be bad enough. This is an entire narrative we're spinning here.
But you were willing to go with the blackmail of,
you know,
I hooked up with you.
I figured it wasn't. It was bad because like, oh, this is weird. It's like, let's just have it on my boss and like,
oh,
it sucks, but I'll go with it.
Wait, why is it bad?
But like I was also like, oh, it's like a year and a half over difference.
A year and a half! A year and a half! A year and a half! Oh my god, I didn't even realize he lied during this call as well. Dude, this constant downplaying of the age gap. If he went down to 2, I'd call that out. He's gone down to a year and a half age gap. Oh. What is he doing, man? He's just bold-faced lying.
But like I was also like, oh, it's like a year and a half over difference. I don't care.
It was 1916.
No, she was older than that.
Ooh. And now, here comes in the contention. No, she was older than that.
Alleged it happened.
Well, it happened over Thanksgiving, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the fucking story.
Well, you told
me.
You
don't remember the story? And now, when he's pressed, this happened over Thanksgiving, didn't it? Because his first meetup with her was in October. I believe they had a second meetup around in November. He's like, well, I don't remember. No, I've forgotten. I've forgotten when this happened. Fuck off. Such a liar.
You were driving up to see family.
When we met at Thanksgiving, yes.
Yes, and that was the first time you guys met.
I don't remember where she said it happened.
Right. In your car.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean like when.
When? Yeah, well, that's a timeline that
Well, even if that's true, you're lying about the age gap. You know you're lying. And just see how easy it is. Just see how easy it is. It's not necessary for him to say there what the age gap is. And for some reason, boop, he just drops that in there. Oh, it was only a year and a half, you know? These last reminders, it was 1916.
Given me, right? Because that's when you two were in the same area.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right.
The last time we saw each other was Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure Which is
How old was she at Christmas? How old was she at Christmas? Bearing in mind that her birthday is in February. 16. Okay, cool.
those times she claimed it happened or whatever.
So you drive up.
I was with family. I stayed with my family. At the time, she had told me, like, I knew that she was around there. I truthfully was just trying to get an off-the-record account where
okay.
I felt comfortable, like, because I
Off the
at that
record,
point
let me go
I'd
and put it
gotten
in a
more.
video. I'm still listening.
I
Give me
guess
2 seconds.
I've gotten more. Can't find the fucking word. Wise to her, and I wanted to know what was going on. And at that point, we were friendly. We were getting like close. We were becoming closer. So.
And I know that she was 16 because her birthday's in February.
I guess so, yeah.
So why'd you just say she was older?
I didn't, like, I forgot, to be quite honest. Like, I remember her being 17 was the thing because, like, that's what, like, we talked about. That's what I talked about in my, like, response and shit. That's what she was at the time. So.
When did you tell her that you weren't interested?
This was like late December-ish.
Late December-ish? Okay.
Yeah. It happened really quickly, all like the collapse.
So in your response video, right? And many times I ask you, you'd never give me a straight answer on whether or not you two hooked up.
Ooh, I'm back. Listen, don't let yourself forget as well. Okay, when did this call happen? When did this call happen? This call happened on the 9th. This call happened on the 9th. 8 days ago. This call happened a week ago. Just over a week ago. So at this time, I can't remember when we met up. I can't remember, when she said that we had sex. I can't remember how, what the age difference was. He can't remember anything. Can he remember this girl's name? He can't remember anything about this. But then when you go to his document, well, he remembers quite clearly. Not just that it was a 3-year age gap, okay? Obviously she was 16, he was 19, but he remembers her birthday quite keenly here to point out that it was 2.5 year age gap. Not 3, okay? 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And so now you're telling me you guys didn't hook up?
No.
Can't remember where his evidence is. Neither can he. Neither can he.
So why didn't you just tell me we didn't hook up instead of beat around the bush?
I was afraid of what she would do if I was on the record saying that.
Okay, so now you're on the record saying that, and because here's the thing, okay? He knows he's lying. He knows he's lying. He lies as easily as he breathes, dude. It's insane. Why did you not want that out? Oh, I was afraid of what she'd do if she was to find out. Really? Really? Because now apparently she hasn't blackmailed you at all into saying that you slept together. And so that makes no sense.
I would have been accommodating if that was the case.
I know. You have to understand that this situation, like, to me, was a death sentence. The internet found out, I would have been a bullet.
More emotional manipulation. I don't care. I think you're a liar. I think you're lying about this too. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I listened over to all of our calls. If it's true that you didn't hook up with her, not once do you ever slip up from beating around the bush and avoiding my question. Not once.
What do you mean? Like when we were talking?
When I
was
asked
this
you
like
about it.
I know. I'm sure.
Hold on, I could actually pull up the exact 1:30.
I'm gonna be real. I don't want to listen.
Okay, I'll just read out my notes. Right.
Okay.
So we have a call on January 30th, and we're discussing the aftermath of the trip, right, from Christmas.
Yeah.
Right? You tell me that you want to make a documentary and meet her and interview her.
Mm-hmm.
I asked you if it was a romantic fling in the call. You respond, kinda, quote, and that you agree with my assessment as I explained.
A romantic fling! A romantic fling! I thought this was just a hookup. I thought that... Oh, the shifting sands! The shifting sands! We're gonna find out they were fucking married next.
Explain it. When I ask if you have sex with her, you pause before saying, quote, me choosing not to answer should be an answer for you. I press you on this, and you say, yes, we did, to whether or not you two had sex.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Was it smart of me to go with it? No, it wasn't. But at that point, I was more content with quitting the internet than that event being really events, rather.
Well, when she accused you of rape, the discussion...
We're gonna find out she gave him pedo AIDS. Reservoir, how's it going? I don't know what you mean, mate, okay? I will warn you, okay? Mr. Reservoir, okay? The term pedophile is banned for this discussion. Anyone calling him a pedophile is retarded. Including you.
Accusing you of.
I realize it now.
You didn't realize it then? I told you then. I said...
I understood it then, but to me, it just didn't... I guess it wasn't clicking. I don't know. I was very scared. I understand where you are coming from, but and why you may like, I guess, why you want to follow up, why you feel that. But I was under a lot of pressure. Pretty much every time we were talking, she was, reminding me.
Well, you said in our last call that you stand behind your response, but I know you privated the my response video.
He did.
I stand by some of it. Stand by what I said about Correct, so that's for sure.
What don't you stand behind?
Any defense I gave to Anne. Because it wasn't genuine.
So those interview pieces that you put in, right?
Yeah.
You ask Jelly the sex question, right? But you ask it very interestingly. You say, quote, did I have sex to you while listening to Big Dick Randy? To which Anne replies, quote, we did not have sex while listening to Big Dick Randy.
That's such a good point. Oh my god, I didn't even realize this. I've listened to this call like twice now, okay? This is the third time I'm listening to it. And I didn't even realize how smart that question was. She's collaborated with you before to say that you didn't have sex with her. How does that make sense? Totally falling apart. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's all I could... I was trying to get her to walk it back.
Trying to get her to walk what back?
To like... At that point, we had got on better terms slowly. I was hoping that I could move on with my life, and she would get rid of this hate funder for me and get over everything. So during that time, I was like, can you finally admit that this is not what happened? This is the case. And the stipulation was that she would say it, but there would be like something after it. Like, and then like I think at the time one of the ROS on mods was saying they had sex listening to Big Dick Randy, so we kind of were memeing on it a little bit, I guess. And yeah.
But the true allegation isn't whether or not...
Oh, I thought that was a joke. What, the Big Dick Randy thing? Well, it was half a joke. Like, yeah, we had sex, but not to Big Dick Randy. Okay. It's like... No. You hyperbolize the thing to make it seem like you're joking about it, because it's such a ridiculous thing that somebody would say. But... no. The clear intention of that is to say, did we have sex to Dancing Queen by ABBA? Like, no, we did not have sex. The Dancing Queen by ABBA. Like, that's how ridiculous it is. Even the allegation that we would have sex is just as ridiculous as the allegation that we would have sex to this retarded song. That's what it's saying. And that's what he's clearly accepting. Okay? That's what he's clearly accepting. Is the implication was it was a soft denial. Well, not an outright lie. Very fucking manipulative.
Not you had sex with Big Dick Randy, it's whether or not you two had sex at all.
Yeah, which we did.
Right. So things are ending. You want her to admit to not having sex with Big Dick Randy? Why not just ask her outright, did we or did we not have sex?
I tried.
I tried?
I fucking tried.
Did you?
So instead you beat around the bush?
I kept trying. She wasn't willing to capitulate. She wanted it over me.
Or did you beat around her? Well, she's 6. Does she have a one? I was going to make a sex joke about beating around her bush, but she's 16. Oh! Don't want to think.
So I just settled for what I could fucking get so I could try to move on with my life in some fucking way.
Mm-hmm. But that's not even addressing it. You realize that, right?
Obviously. That's what she wanted. She's a sick little fucker.
Yeah, but you knew how she operates.
I guess. I was being naive for sure.
So on February 19th, 2024, Anne sends me a voice note of a call she had with you. And on that call, it's where she accuses you of rape, right?
Yeah.
That call is not... The call is basically whether or not the two of you had reconciled about your encounter, right?
Mm.
Not whether or not the sexual encounter happened. So both of you, in the privacy
we
of the
weren't
call
even
together...
talking about a sexual fucking encounter.
I can pull up that
Were you
clip.
not? This is all an act, by the way. This is all an act. I will say this. 10 toes down, okay? He does not have a call. He doesn't think he has a call. There is no blackmail. This blackmail angle has never been referenced until now. Apparently he's thought about this for the last year, for the last 18 months. He's been tossing and turning in bed at night, thinking about the day when he's going to start, going to stop taking the abuse and start demanding justice, okay? He's got to start standing up for himself to this child. Now, today is the day, but unfortunately, he spent all his time tossing and turning. There wasn't a spare moment to look for the call. I'm going to the transcript to look for the next time anything is said. Fuck me.
Yeah, the two of you, in the privacy of a call alone, with no outside parties, the two of you are discussing how the event took place, not whether or not the event took place.
True.
What event?
The event where you hook up with her.
What was happening?
What was happening?
Yeah, like what were we discussing specifically?
What were we discussing specifically? Do you need it spelt out for you, fella?
You of like... Let me listen to what she says exactly. Forcibly lifted her up and wouldn't stop. And that Anne was hitting you.
Yeah. That wasn't a sexual encounter.
That wasn't a sexual encounter?
Oh.
Because it is described as a sexual encounter.
I know. I remember how it was phrased. I remember how it was.
So
now you remember. Now he remembers. Of course.
I already...
Oh, wait. You're going to have to remind me of that damning evidence against my position. I can't quite remember. No, actually, that's a misstatement of exactly what was said, okay? I remember what was said in that call. That's more than... This guy's so dishonest.
Explained this like a billion times before, I feel like. But like that was when we had like met. I think it was like the second or third, fourth time we met. I can't remember. No, because we only met. It was the second time that day that we re-met up. I hugged her. I picked her up. Like that was kind of like a big old hug. You know what I mean? Like I was picking her up. She freaked out. I didn't know she didn't like that, and like that was something she was got into, and she was like, she started like flailing around, I guess. But I mean, she also did that a lot without anything happening. We would like do that with her arm.
You
I didn't think much
He
of
said
it.
that you did nothing wrong.
And then apparently, like, she has some like.
Hello? I'm guessing that's on Diesel's side when he records it.
Trauma with being picked up. I didn't know about. I felt bad about. So that's essentially what it was. She used that, and at the same time talking about, from what I remember, we were also talking about prior what people were saying and how I was uncomfortable with this implication. That around this time, this was after, blackmail. So I was still trying to get it back. I believe her reasoning, even for talking about this, was reasons why I'm a shitty person, and why I don't deserve to be, why I deserve to have my life ruined or whatever. Why this is fine for her to do.
Well,
so
remember this performance where he's crying. It's all fucking lies. It's all completely lies. Oh my god.
The conversation and the reason Anne is pressing you is because I'm talking to you about the event and not her. You're both talking about my interactions with you regarding that event. So it's not about you being a shitty person or not.
Mm-hmm.
There are calls where she was trying to label me as a shitty person.
I'm certain there were, but I'm just telling you that's what that call was specifically.
Yeah. But the reason that was something she always brought up when she was trying to describe me as a shitty person. I mean, I'm almost certain there's a recording of it out there. I remember it.
Where she was trying to call you a shitty person. Who fucking who, dude?
No, and I was scared, and that I didn't want to.
No, just in the sense of us having sex, and that can be.
Ooh.
Are you re-listening to it or something?
Yeah.
He said that you did nothing wrong.
Anne asked inquisitively, he said that you did nothing wrong.
Well, in a legal standpoint.
And you respond saying, well, in a legal standpoint.
I was saying no, and I was scared, and that I didn't want to.
She's saying from a legal standpoint, I was saying no.
No, just in the sense of us.
And you respond.
No, I wasn't talking about you in this call.
Yes, that was about me. She says
no, I wasn't.
She says FPS in the voice call.
When?
She sounds 7. I don't know about the ethics. I mean, she's an adult now. I don't know about the ethics about showing what she looked like. But yeah, I mean, videos are out there. She acts incredibly young. There are allegations floating around that she lied and she's actually younger. God, it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell.
Do you or do you not want to listen to these?
I don't, personally.
Okay, so then you'll just have to take my word on it.
Ooh.
You respond in regards to us having sex.
I'm not directing you to the meth.
I don't think that. I'm pretty sure to say in regards to the idea of us having sex.
Do you or do you not want to listen to this? Because it sounds like to me you're trying to avoid addressing this again.
What do you mean?
It's okay.
Right.
Like,
you work on this video, right? You tell me how you want to come back to commentary. You say, it was fake. I didn't have sex with her. Please take that out of the video. You DM me a second time asking before deleting it and getting worried. You private your old response video.
That has been off. That's been off for a while.
Nope. It's recent because I had my team check And we're like, oh, damn, it's down. And we made sure to download it because it was unlisted.
Oh,
It was unlisted. I made it fully private.
And you made it fully private, yes.
Because I assumed it was already private. I went back and I realized it was still unlisted, so I privated it.
Obviously, if you're coming to commentary, would this or would this not be a matter of contention for many commentary channels?
Look, if that's how you want to fucking put it, whatever. But that's just not what happened. Okay, I'm gonna stand on that. I'm not gonna sit here and just be fine with this because and look, I'm sorry for being fucking snippy. Frankly, this is something that's been on my shoulders for a long time. The shit that she was saying about me.
Yes.
The things I had to, or I felt like at the time.
Yes,
I had to
Cameron.
capitulate with, or things that I shouldn't have capitulated with.
Stand
but
up
I
for
did because
yourself.
Mentally, I could not handle the release of that information, and that because it was quite literally, still, frankly, is a death sentence to me.
Bro, he brings this up so much, okay? If you listen to the way he talks about it, it's very fucking obvious what he's talking about. Very fucking obvious what he's talking about. Incredibly fucking obvious what he's talking about. Because he brings it up all the time for something that he's so deathly afraid of coming out. I think it's total bollocks, personally, okay?
It's something I
So your
am
family's
not
okay
over.
with you being a statutory rapist? Because that's what this is. You crossed state lines. She's underage. You were 19.
I mean, cross state lines.
Yes, you did cross state lines. Did you drive up, yes or no?
No, I drove with my family.
So now you're saying you drove with your family? That's different than what you told me before.
I drove with my family. My family and I were staying there. That's not different. That's the same fucking thing I've said this entire time.
So you drove up from
Don't
where
try
you
to grill
live
me on some bullshit,
into
dude.
where you meet her, yes or no?
I later met her while I was staying in York. I didn't go there to meet her.
Okay, but did you cross state lines, yes or no?
Sure, but I was residing at that point in time.
Really? As a resident, you pay taxes there?
No, I don't pay taxes in Florida either. But I live here. Look, dude, the point is, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't even know why I'm having that conversation. It doesn't even fucking matter, because it's not what happened, okay?
Well, the thing is you're asking me to change content
True.
on the basis of
you
no
don't-
evidence.
You don't
You
have
haven't
to.
provided it, and you've been...
You don't have to. Remember what he said to me is, I wasn't trying to pressure the guy. I wasn't trying to pressure the guy at all. After bringing up all this fucking bullshit, lying to get this eventuality, lying to get this done, lying about fucking everything. Hey, thank you, Sliggins, for the raid.
lying. And you're still...
Have I been lying?
And you've gotten on my stream, by the way.
So defensive. So defensive. The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
And you've maintained it.
CameronF305. Lie. Lie.
Constantly through this entire thing. I went back through and I looked. Not once. You know, you're not a good liar, Cameron. You're not.
The fuck was I lying during this
True.
call specifically? I'm not playing this bullshit, dude. Don't even fucking...
Who?
Because...
You came to me. You came to me. Okay?
I felt comfortable coming with you because I've had this on my shoulders for a while, okay?
Right? And while
you don't have
He
to
feels
change...
comfortable with you, Diesel. How could you be so mean to him? He feels so comfortable with you.
with you because I've had this on my shoulders for a while, okay?
Right? And while
you don't have to change anything. I
while
understand.
this was all going on, right, back when it happened, you told me how conflicted you were and how heartbroken you were because of all the things that Dev has done for you as well. And I'm certain you did, right?
I did.
But you know what's
I stand
very
by that.
interesting? During that time, when that happened, you told me a story about something that happened to someone in your family, of which Dev gave money for that. Now, maybe that event happened or didn't, right? But it's very interesting how these very horrible things seem to happen in your life and have some weird attachment to this recent story that's going on. And it's constant.
No, you're a fucking asshole, dude.
Yes!
Actually, dude. You're actually a fucking asshole. Like,
That's
You're
interesting
actually
because you know how many
fucking
times you
asshole.
sat and call and glazed the shit out of me.
is that how you take things? Can I not just like, you know what? You don't have to change anything. I was being frank with you. I understand.
He knows he doesn't. That's why he didn't. Bitch.
Listen, you had this footage of Dev that you withheld for what? So that way you could get kudos with the fucking Reddit mods?
Yes.
That wasn't for the Reddit mods, dude. you just... listen, not everything... I wasn't constantly thinking, oh, what's Diesel gonna think? That's not what was going on. Okay, this was like a
But I
fucking
bet you were
difficult...
thinking, damn, how can I save my ass? How can I keep this from getting out? How can I protect myself? Of course you would. Who wouldn't think that?
I love Diesel.
Probably. That's not like... But that didn't have to do with that at the time. You have to understand, at that point, there wasn't anything against me. Why would I keep it? If just to save my ass? From what? There was nothing against me at that point.
Why would he say that?
Why would you keep it? Why would you keep
There
it
was nothing against
until the Reddit post in April?
Yeah, why would I keep a call from mid-October when there was nothing against me at that point?
In mid-October.
Cameron, for years, people have called you the sweeper and personal assistant for Yandere Dev.
Ooh.
Okay?
Well, it was true, to be fair. I mean, if you guys haven't watched the video or don't remember, there was a portion where they were going over the DMs between Yandere Dev and the 16-year-old girl, okay? Yandere Dev brings up the prospect of her sending him not nudes, but lewds. And Cameron jumps in and says, well, maybe he's just talking about, like, hentai. Maybe. You know? Maybe it's not lewd images of her. You know, maybe he's just talking about, like, hentai. How's it going, A-Space?
For years, people have accused you of working with him.
Accused me of work? I did work with him.
Not in a professional capacity, to, like, cover for his stupid behavior.
I mean, I inadvertently did. In hindsight.
You inadvertently did?
I wasn't maliciously lying for him.
Ooh.
That wasn't my prerogative.
Well, you certainly didn't want Allie to get some comeuppance on you. Or any of the people that were anti-dev.
I didn't trust Allie at first, yeah.
You didn't trust her until the end, and I don't blame you for that, but...
Like, I don't understand your point, and I'm honestly, like... It took a lot to, like, tell you what I told you.
Cameron also knows that the only thing that was ever asked was the proof he sent to the police. Oh, the proof he sent it to the police because Diesel reported Dev to the FBI. Cameron keeps it to save face. I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't understand what you're saying. Feel free to call in if you want, mate. He keeps it to save face. How does he save face?
I'm waiting for evidence that backs up your position.
Here, I'll look for it. I'm gonna need time. It's there's a lot of footage. I'll look through my hard drive. I'll try to recover my other hard drive where that died. I still have it. I haven't recovered it. I will do anything I can. Honestly, I didn't come in here thinking you were gonna track it at the time. There was a point.
Okay. Here's part of the reason. Okay, that I really do not believe that he has any of this evidence that he's talking about. All right. I don't think he's got any of this blackmail evidence that he's talking about. Because think you're in his position. Okay. You've had this huge video come out. You're a video essayist. You're not streaming every day. You don't have to worry about people coming into your stream chat and, like, you know, chatting shit and, like, chirping at you and stuff, right? You've got time to be able to respond. You are so confident. You say in the first call, you know. You have this footage, you have audio, you've got enough to prove it. Definitively. The only thing that was stopping you was whether or not you wanted to come out. But now, you've got to look for the footage. Well, you know you have the footage, so you can just wait and have that as your response. But he puts together a lazy fucking cobbled together response. Three pages, mostly stuff sourced from Diesel's video. He's got no evidence to present. He's got no more evidence to present. There's no way. What's the thing here about him trying to save face?
It's pretty simple. Cameron throughout this story, in my opinion, is not necessarily Diesel's opinion because I didn't join Diesel's orbit until after all this.
Okay.
But seeing Cameron, one of the things I keep seeing over time is he piecemeals evidence to either take blame off of him or piecemeal evidence to get in good graces. Because this is the thing that's always bothered me, and it's always been interesting. Cameron, while he never had to release that he sent things to the police, only shows it when Diesel asks for it when he's in a drama. And I've said this, and I'll say this: it's very interesting that Cameron focuses on the age gap discourse. He's openly said whose stream he watched, and that's why he's focusing on it. But it's very interesting to me that he focuses on the age gap discourse when the accuser, which is Jelly, is not around, because he can show that he sent things to the police and then be like, oh, well, I did the one thing Diesel asked, so there's no problems. It's hearsay that I'm on a recorded line, that I also should be mutually recording, as well as there's DM proof that I begged him to redact all information about me from his video.
Right.
And that's what I mean is that
so he
Cameron
holds it back so he
teases
can
things
throw it out later, like a gecko losing its fucking tail. It wiggles around on the ground. It's like, I know you're angry at me, but look, I've just given you this like lovely juicy bit of evidence.
Yeah,
I get that.
Because it's emblematic in his Google Doc. His Google Doc only refers to the fact that, because he shows that, oh, I did the thing. His Google Doc isn't I lied. It's no, he's a worthless drama YouTuber. Why would I have given him the police report? But then why do you leak it on the Arosana thread in Discord? Why would you not come and be yourself and be like, I, CameronF305, made a police report and then did all of this? Because then nobody would fucking care. Like, everyone would be like, oh, you know what? You did the right thing.
Especially given the fact that he's leaking it to the subreddit so that the public can know. Who the fuck is going to look at a fucking Reddit thread so the public can know? If you give it to a drama YouTuber, guaranteed that's going to get around. What are you doing, dude?
because this is my personal thing. He wanted to save it because he knew this drama would come up again the moment he published a video. And he wanted to save it so anybody who covered him, be it Diesel again, be it a Deorio, a Turkey Tom, whatever, so he could be like, wait, let me send you proof that I did this thing. Let me live react. See, I did the good thing. I did the right thing.
Yeah, I get that.
Like you said, he is manipulative.
I get that. Oh my god. That's quite funny though. What do you think the end result's going to be of this?
End result is he's going to keep on making content, which is fine. Listen, if you want my personal take, he'll make content within a vacuum of his audience, but it's not going to be covered by commentary, which is what he really wanted. Ultimately, that's what he wanted. It's why he's such a fucking brown nose. It's why he's this, that, and the third. He really wants commentary to watch his videos and look forward to whenever he uploads.
Well, only to big creators. Okay, he was quite curt with me. At one time he said that he was only going to give me 2 more questions, and then he wasn't going to speak to me anymore.
I have to apologize. That's my fault. I ambushed him live on stream, and I made him admit that a minor can't coerce him into having sex live on stream.
No fucking way. Where is that?
We did a CameronF3. So I did a gay op. I've openly admitted this. If you go to the op block, there's a stream. You can start about 29 minutes in because I do the glazing thing. I fucking work people for a living. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
And I do the glazing thing, and I mentioned a couple different things. We ran into a guy fucking months ago who made this fucking thing called the reverse predator, which was minors who groom adults, all this fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And I start walking him through, hey, talk yourself out of it, because I know the points that Cameron is going to use to defend himself. He's going to use either that she was a big ass liar, which yes, she is.
Yeah.
But so is he. And he's going to be like, well, I was in a vulnerable, dark place. Yandere groomed me. I even asked him that question, and he waffles on it a little bit.
Huh.
Because he knows I know who he is.
Dude, I'm really, really looking forward to doing that, actually, to watching that next. How long does he stay on the call?
I can't stay for very long. I literally get a 30-minute break, and I'm about 10 minutes into it.
No, that's fine. I mean, how long does he stay on the call?
Oh, how long is he on the call?
Yeah.
You'll know when he pops off because I drag Diesel in, and it scares him shitless.
Oh,
he runs.
Okay.
I confronted him with the video release, and he runs.
Dude. Okay, I'm super looking forward to that though. How have I not seen this? Oh my! I watched your guys' stream on the birdie allegations, and somehow I missed the one before that. Okay.
Bruh.
Nice. I'll get back to the second call, but I'm looking forward to that interaction. I'll watch that next.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. I'll chat to you later.
All right.
You weren't honest and upfront with me about this exact thing throughout many of our calls. Okay, it was like pulling teeth, right? Once it's finally out there and I post about it, oh well, all the gloves are off. We have the call with Ann, or we have the group chat with Ann. That happens every single time through that entire thing. Nobody says that this event didn't happen. All right, and then you come to me a year later and say, hey, Diesel, it didn't happen. And I told you a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it seems like all of this happens to change at a really opportune time when you want to come to commentary, when you and I both know, knowing commentary's history, that this exact thing would string you up.
Yep.
I don't know. It was more so, there was a lot to it.
Would you like Harley TBS talking about how you had sex with Ann now?
I don't give a fuck what Harley TBS says, or thinks, or does, frankly.
Really? Because you talk
not
about
not true. This guy is hypersensitive. Oh, this guy is super sensitive, man. There's no way he's saying, oh yeah, I don't care what this guy says. I don't care what this guy says at all.
Harley TBS quite a bit. You
like,
mentioned him more than once in our calls.
Yeah, a couple times in our calls, because that's someone you and I both know in the community.
And it's somebody that's covered the Yandere Dow stuff.
That's also somebody I don't like.
Exactly. So you wouldn't like them covering that, would you?
I frankly don't care. I wouldn't like it. I just don't care about it.
Oh my god! This is, to be fair, okay, I will say, this is not just a Cameron problem. This is a commentary-wide problem, okay? Lads. You know, just be honest. You can open up. Things can bother you, okay? You're allowed to have things bother you. I don't really care. Sure, it would upset me, but I wouldn't really care. Shut the fuck up. Such gay cope.
About Harley. I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like anyone covering it. No shit. But it's not... Listen, you can choose not to believe me. I understand why you're grilling me. I get that. But at the same time, you have to, like... Okay, whether or not you believe me right now, say everything I'm saying is true. You understand why that infuriates me.
Absolutely. But you haven't given me a reason to trust you, and you've been nothing but a snake through the entire thing as far as I'm concerned. I can't believe I was so charitable to you before.
You have to understand where my position was. I regret my decisions. Absolutely. Absolutely. Billion%. But I wasn't lying when I said I liked you as a content creator. I wasn't lying when I said...
Oh my god, dude. I wasn't lying when I said I liked you as a content creator. 1 second. Hold up. Let's go back. Let's go back through the DMs. 1 second. Bomb, bomb. Bomb, 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 bomb. Bomb, bomb. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going straight to the end. Why did you bring up your rape and suicidal ideation when asking Diesel to remove the information? And why were you so flattering if you have resentment towards Diesel? Do you acknowledge that was extremely manipulative and two-faced? Absolutely. And while it wasn't my intention, I totally regret it. I did used to look up to him, and those feelings were raw, but I totally understand how it became sort of emotional manipulation, and I 100,000% regret that. I won't do shit like that again. Lies! He lies!
I thought you, like, you know, when I was, I guess, as you put it, glazing you, I do like respect you. There's a reason I came to you for any of this. I respect you. Like, the reason I was kind of, I guess, scared at certain points, I'm sure early on, was because I respected you. I didn't want to, like, fucking fuck up, you know, I guess your view of me on one hand, and then the other hand,
that line was going to be 10 times worse than any alternative, right? Like, now I'm re-looking into this
You
again.
haven't spoken to this bloke in a year. You haven't spoken to this guy in a year. You've never met him before. Oh my, he's so fucking sensitive. It's actually, he's not made for the space. It's genuinely
of course.
rough.
And I knew this day would. I knew this day would eventually probably come, where I would have to tell you this. I just didn't know when.
I knew this day would come.
I felt like I'm in a better spot now.
To tell you this.
I feel like
how
now,
big does FPS Diesel loom in this guy's mind? It's genuinely obscene.
Like, I've been able to move on. There's a reason why this. I understand, like, oh, he's coming back to commentary. Oh, but sure, I get that, and that, like, I won't lie. There's probably a correlation there.
Oh. Wait, there's probably a correlation there. Where's the subconscious? Conscious. Fuck. Shit. Why have they only got my message? Why have they only got my messages in the PDF? Holy shit, PDFs are fucking awful. Whoever invented PDFs. What? That's all I'm saying. I hope they have as bad a throat as I have right now.
But at the same time, it's all because, as well, I'm feeling more comfortable coming back. I'm feeling more healthier. I've had time to process things. I've had time to get therapy. I've had time to get advice.
Sorry, I believe the contention was whether you were lying now, intentionally, to try and curry more favor. Why are you talking about your therapy again?
Because, I mean, you're not the first person I've told about the blackmail.
Who else? Can he name one other person who he's told this blackmail lie to? Because that would corroborate it, to be fair, if you're saying it to multiple people and not just a creator with information about him publicly that he could redact.
It took a while. Like, if you think this is, like, my first time relitigating it to me, no. Like, it's been a lot of fucking therapy, you know? It's been a lot of time, loved ones, talking with my girlfriend about what happened.
Sorry.
You know,
what
a lot of shit. This didn't come, like, out of nowhere.
It did. Well, no. Technically, it didn't come out of nowhere. But by your own admission, this has come totally out of your own mind. This is a lie. This didn't come out of nowhere. Okay.
If I could change one thing, probably it would. Before I reached out to me, I would have gone through all the calls. But frankly, it's hard to go back to them.
Ugh. Transcribe them and search the transcripts.
I'm some of them.
Surely, if this had evidence which would totally exonerate you in the public square, you would have thought of this, no? Take those audio recordings, slap them into a speech-to-text, get a transcript, search through them. Are you blackmailing me? Blackmail. You must. You need to. I will release details about his, like, private events or whatever. He could
Some
if he
of them
wanted
I know are
to.
lost because she forced me.
She forced you through Discord to delete them? Under what?
Listen, I know at the time I felt forced, okay? I know it sounds ridiculous. At that time, I felt forced. You know what I mean?
This is why I hammered down when I was speaking to him about, like, okay, explicitly, did you explicitly become forced? Was it explicit? Cameron is an audio engineer by trade/school, so I can't believe he never found it. It would depend. It would depend what specialty, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to slander him unnecessarily, okay? I am fair. Would an audio engineer by training be able to search through hours of recorded calls to be able to search for subject matter better than the average person? I'm not sure. I want to be fair though.
At that time, when you're hearing all of the things that you feel like oh my god, this is like the worst thing imaginable in my head. That's what it was. It was the worst fucking thing imaginable. When you're hearing that like screamed at you, you feel like you have no option. You feel like this is the end of the world. You'll do things that you think that in hindsight feel fucking retarded. I feel like this is so backwards.
So
why did
you deleted calls because you told her that you were.
First of all, I'm not getting into that with you.
I'm not Wait, what?
Because you told her that you were.
Yeah, okay. I feel like, everyone knows what this is now. Okay. Dude, the censor job there is fucking awful, no?
This is so backwards.
So
why did
you deleted calls because you told her that you
were.
First of all, I'm not getting into that with you. I'm not comfortable talking about that.
But that was the reason why, right? That was the dark secret you didn't want getting out there.
There's a lot more to it.
I'm certain there is.
And I'm certain there's not.
I don't like the way you put that.
Although actually,
I get.
I don't like the way you put that. Actually, no. Am I being unfair? Maybe. The way he phrased that makes me think that he genuinely had like an emotional reaction at that point.
Yeah. I'm not comfortable.
Because you told her.
This is so backwards.
So
because he's all fired up.
Why did
you deleted calls because you told her that you were.
First of all, I'm not getting into that with you.
That feels genuine to me.
This is my message to the Dickers IDF. I can relate to this guy being groomed by a minor.
What?
I am being extorted by 19-year-olds, who I see as 15. I am oppressed by minors after I sex them.
Thank you, Major Destiny, for the $1. I wish you luck in all your legal proceedings. Fucking hell.
I'm not comfortable talking about that.
But that was the reason why, right? That was the dark secret you didn't want getting out there.
On reflection, that seems legit.
There's a lot more to it.
I'm certain there is.
And I don't like the way you put that, but I get you're being frank or whatever. A lot happened, and a lot of what happened is like. More so the details. That fucking haunt me.
And you told her the details about this.
Well, yeah. I regret it. I wish I didn't.
Let's say I believe your story, right? You
give a
even
fuck.
telling her that story
It was a fucking dumb idea. I know. I know. It was dumb. I shouldn't have fucking told her. I felt comfortable.
And so you agreed to delete calls.
That sounds like a fake cry, though. I don't know. This is the problem. This guy is so manipulative. It's genuinely impossible to distinguish between the lies and like what's legit. I find it really difficult.
You agreed to say that you had sex with her.
I didn't care. I didn't care what the fuck it was, dude.
I'm not calling you a pedophile. You realize people will call you a pedophile for the rest of your life?
Good. Call me what the fuck you want. I know I didn't do it.
You would rather be called a pedophile than the alternative?
I didn't think of it like that at the time. I wasn't thinking of it like that. You have to understand.
I mean, like, put YouTube aside. Your fucking entire life could have been ruined.
I totally get that. I totally get that. But you have to understand critically that I was not thinking about that. I was thinking about, I was tunnel visioned on this one thing. I never wanted it out. I was unwell. You're not.
I'm sure.
Obviously, me and my rational mind now is like, what the actual fuck was I thinking?
So after everything was said and done, why didn't Anne just release it anyway? Like, the video was out.
True.
Everybody had known everything. Everybody thought Anne was a piece of shit. And she just chose not to release that?
I don't know.
Her. She's very vindictive.
There's certain things about her that she definitely is willing to capitulate with some things. She feels very, I guess, we were able to end our relationship, I guess, on like, it was like fine terms, but like it definitely wasn't like positive.
Fine terms? You want us to believe that you've lived in fear of this information being vindictively released. We left it on fine terms.
I don't know why she didn't release it. A part of me wonders if, like, She definitely had it. I don't doubt that she had it. I heard parts of it. She definitely had something.
This was 8 days ago, yeah.
Fuck, I don't know, dude. But I capitulated a lot for her not to do it.
I mean, we already know he's lying about a lot of this. It's hard to distinguish what is and isn't a lie, though, so...
You agreed to an insane thing, if that is the
I
case.
fucking know! You think I don't know that, man?
And without...
Okay. Now, again, I'm remembering, and I'm reminding myself, okay, that he knows that this is false. What he's saying is false. He didn't agree to say that he slept with her, and lie and say that he slept with her, in return for this stuff not getting out or whatever. Because he did sleep with her. So where's this emotion coming from? This is fake.
If that is the
I
case.
fucking know! You think I don't know that, man?
And without you having a clip, I just have to take your word on it, and I can't. Okay.
I understand. And look, and
it looks to
that's
me,
something-
having been in this space for a while, that you came to me because you didn't like how that was out there. Because that's what it looks like right now.
I don't like how that's the narrative that people have to accept, because I made a really dumb choice. It sucks, but it's what it's gonna have to be, I guess, unless I find the recording. I just mainly, the reason I ended up continuing with this call, because I was gonna cancel. The reason I ended up doing it is because I just wanted you to know.
Not that you wanted him to, like, take out this information then. This is the problem. He's just constantly fucking lying. His desperation is real because it's false. Yeah, probably.
I wanted someone to know.
Apparently... Wait, you wanted someone to know. Apparently you've already told other people about this. Okay, this bit is false then. It's all of this is false. All of this is false. This is all fake. There's no blackmail. This is all fake. You wanted other people to know. You said earlier that you'd already told other people about this.
Well, you said you spoke to another...
It's someone who got it.
Mm.
Like, I mean, they get it, but it just sounds like goofy fucking internet drama to them.
Mm. So it was like an IRL person.
My therapist, and then...
Wait.
Like, I mean,
he caught you out in the lie.
Well, you said you spoke to another...
It's someone who got it.
Mm.
Like, I mean, they get it, but it just sounds like goofy fucking internet drama to them.
Mm. So it was like an IRL.
Okay. This is the least convincing explanation for this lie imaginable.
Person.
My therapist, and then my girlfriend.
He'd go on with food shops about 3 hours after this call. No fucking way, dude. Oh, well, I guess that was probably quite soothing for him. Fuck me, man. What a fucking spurg.
But I mean, beyond that, I mean, it's not something I really volunteer. Any of it. I think, I'm sorry for raising my voice and stuff.
No, you're not.
I'm not. I don't want to make an enemy or be a dick or anything.
Okay, now you're lying. Now you're telling the truth. You don't want to make an enemy. Oh my god. He can't even just, like, chill out for 2 seconds and be real. I mean, that's obviously quite true, but, you know.
This, obviously.
You say you fucking resent this guy. You resent this guy.
Has been weighing on me for a long time. Blackmail, everything to do with the things she said, the things she wanted to do to me, the things that she tried to do to me, things she probably successfully got done to me. I think that was her goal, was to have this dirty shit out about me that she wanted because she had her reasons, I guess. I don't understand it. I don't understand why that was so important to her. I haven't stopped thinking about that, you know? Why? Why?
And why did you lie?
You get me?
I hear you.
I understand that there were definitely times in the past where I was not honest with you.
Really?
Nobody was honest in that story, so of course I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
You know, it's you come to me and you say something incredible.
Can you give me just 2 moments. I'm gonna wash.
This dude shouted out Nick in his video. Wait, he's washing his face. He's washing his face. Huh?
Yeah. So yeah.
I couldn't hear you. You cut out for a second.
Oh, in hindsight, I definitely wish I was more honest with you.
No, you don't.
But
you've liked
this is
cool.
This is a bed that I'm gonna take responsibility that I chose to lay in because
No, you're not. You're gonna lie your way out of it.
I complied with, I guess, her demands.
Shut the fuck up.
Which was a dumb.
You know when somebody's oh my god, this blackmail stuff is 100% not true. Okay, this blackmail stuff is 100% not true. You know when somebody says like, oh, "This is my fault. Oh, this entire situation is my fault because I complied with their out-and-out manipulation and coercion. Oh, this is all my fault. This is my bed to lie in." Shut the fuck up. You're such a liar. It's actually pathetic.
Decision. But that's the route that happened.
Trauma dumping on a stranger's crazy? Well, not if they agree to eventually kind of like delete all this embarrassing public information about you that might hurt your future commentary career goals.
And I want to stress again, I wasn't expecting you to delete it. I asked at that one point, because I was like, oh, it's been relitigated. And I was like, you know what, that's silly to expect him to do. I wouldn't do that. You know?
This is what I do. And there are not other drama tubers out there that know as much as me.
I know that, yeah.
So if anybody was going to say something...
Yeah. Again, man, I do apologize for raising my voice.
It's fine. I'm a New Yorker. Do you think I care?
Hey, he's walking there.
Listen, either way, you're just going to need to get that to me. Period.
Okay.
Like, this just... if you don't have anything, then you don't have anything, and it is what it is, you know?
I will look for it. I don't... Well, I do want you to believe me, but obviously. But I don't expect you to, I guess.
Listen, I might be first on the jump, but, you know, man, those people in the drama you've inserted yourself into, okay? Some of them got nothing but time on their hands.
I know.
And they'd publish your docs, they'd publish your real name.
Go ahead, honestly. Nothing new there. Already happened. Been there.
So whatever you think I'm bringing, I mean, outside of comprehensive notes, like, whatever Dev got, you could get tenfold. That's, like, how insane this drama is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I feel like, sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained right now. It was like, oh, miraculous, or whatever. I forget. Miraculous things always explain whatever. Those two things that happened, like Dev helping me out financially, that was true. And
true, they can be true. I'm not saying they're not true, right? But I have seen in drama when people have their backs against the wall, all of a sudden appeals to emotion like that come out. Oh, this happened and it was really bad, and I've been really struggling since. Or this happened, right? And I've been going through a dark place.
Oh yeah, Mini Lad was. I'm suicidal, guys.
Right, so I hear that all the time. So if I sound like I'm callous,
that's what you fucking said. This fucking guy.
But you know
what?
Just
Yeah,
not the first person who said that to me.
Yeah,
you weren't then, and you're not now.
And I get that. Yeah, totally. It was. I'm not lying to you. I can tell you that.
Oh my god. I mean, there's one thing, okay? There's one thing to tell a lie. There's another thing to double down on it. There's another thing to tell someone, no, really, seriously, honestly, I'm not lying to you. And then there's a level deeper, okay? We call this the sin tier, okay? There are white lies up there, they're kind of forgivable. This is the sin. This is where lying becomes a deadly sin. It's when you start creating all these narratives and you have cumulatively 2 hours of phone calls with somebody where you're just endlessly trying to convince them of this lie.
But I understand where you are, and I'm gonna try to get the recordings to you. I'm gonna try to find them. I'll do anything I can. The thing is, I just don't want another video about it, like, at all.
Cloudy, the crying is a bit much for
If
you.
I give you those recordings, they stay between us.
The crying is delicious. It's fake.
Really, it depends on how it's going to absolve you or not.
What do
It's
you mean?
delicious crocodile tears.
Does Cameron have what he says he claims to have, or does he not? Right? Because this is my job. When you speak to me, you know what you're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like everybody knows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right?
He's had 9 days.
Frankly,
and so far,
there's a lot of people that are looking at the dev stuff. I've been re-looking at it. Right?
Yeah, it is one of those weird things. It's one of those rare things that just kind of pop in your head every once in a while, isn't it? Like, oh fuck, that's a thing.
And like professionally, that video is 3 hours long. All right, I know I did a good job.
Yeah, no,
so I can shorten
think
what I said. The reason I'm doing this is because you came to me.
Mhm.
So the die is cast. Like,
my condition is preferably no more video, but I want no details about what happened to me
like I said, I don't need to do that.
out there ever. I'm fucking begging you. Like, that is
Like I don't need to do that. Did I ever? The thing that you told me that Dev gave you money for. Okay.
Mhm.
Did I include that in the video? No. Did I include it in the calls? No.
I appreciated that. That was a fucked up time.
Right, but like outside of that, you can't really make demands, especially when you don't really have anything to give me.
Bro!
You know,
Yeah,
quid pro quo.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, so he's accepting the fact that he is making demands. Bro, this guy is fucking retarded. I find manipulative people so frustrating. On such a base level. Like, if it was smart, it'd be cool. Like, figuring it all out and unweaving the web, right? But this guy, it just lies on top of lies on top of lies. Until at some point, it's just like, you know? It's just sludge. It's just sludge. This guy's story is sludge. Is there truth in it? Any of it? Maybe. Possibly. I genuinely don't know what is, though.
It's just I'm more
Right,
so saying
Destiny?
that
Exactly.
if I really looked,
Exactly.
I could find it. Yeah. I genuinely do not think I deleted that. I feel like I put that in a fucking separate folder just in case. I thought I had my I's dotted and T's crossed on that.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever needed it for a lawyer, or whatever.
A lawyer. Does this guy have rich parents?
Yeah.
Why is he a lawyer?
But yeah, I mean, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's all I have for now. That's all I can tell you is that probably we'll make an update. Probably we'll do another video on it. There's a lot of people that are looking at it and saying whatever the fuck they want. You know, my video is 3 hours long. I'm not going to tell people, hey, sit down and watch a 3 hour long video.
Are you include this in it?
I don't know what I will or won't include. I'm definitely not going to let the mods of a fucking subreddit dictate what I put out.
I'm not asking that. I prefer this call not be included.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Why is that?
Little wretch.
I got emotional, a little personal, and
yeah, emotionally manipulative.
I guess part of me is still a little afraid.
I guess a part of me.
Listen, what you said you don't want out there, I won't put in, but I can't offer it anymore. And I'm not going to sit here and nickel and dime on whether or not what I am or am not going to include. A lot of things get dropped before they reach it to the video, so I can't even tell you what I will or won't include.
Oh,
really depends what else comes up. I'm going to pull on some other strings.
But Diesel, everyone's going to realize that I'm a manipulative wretch.
But listen, man.
Diesel, please.
It's been real.
It's been real.
Not real fun. It's been real.
Yeah, bro.
I'm going to be brief a little bit.
Been real.
I appreciate you listening to me. I'm sorry again that I got a little heated.
You're not sorry.
Just I guess hearing
the only reason why you're sorry is because it didn't fucking work.
I don't know. Kind of really, especially like with all the fucking time I've taken to like get to a point where I'm comfortable telling you. It I guess, struck a nerve.
Tell you lies.
Look, it is what it is. Either way, I'm giving you homework, so hopefully you find it. And I'll leave you to decompress for the evening.
All right. Have a good night, dude.
Interesting that you don't want to watch it.
Why would I? I mean, you're a YouTuber. You know this better than most. Why would I like engage with this kind of shit?
The thing is that you've been saying that this
You want to be
entire
a
drama,
fucking
and
commentator.
I really do think that you do not want this to get talked about. I really don't think you do. Now, honestly, the onus is on you. I just want you to provide evidence of that, okay? Because you tried to pressure me into taking out a part of my video.
I did not. I made that very clear to you in private.
Yes, you did.
First of
yes,
all.
you did. You
No,
did
I
it
didn't.
twice.
I made
right?
it extremely
Before
clear
you
to
two
you
keep
in
arguing.
private.
Hey, wait. Before you two keep arguing, I'm going to need proof of that shit. Right now. I'm going to need proof of it.
I mean, I recorded my side of it, but...
Well, no. If there's a text, if there's an audio recording,
I made it extremely clear to him in private that if he wanted to leave it in the video, that's fine. I was going to try to find whatever we were talking about. I'm not going to get into it because, first of all, it's a private conversation. And second of all, that's
Not
very
anymore!
personal shit that we were talking about in regards to like the proof that I was going to send him.
Okay.
There are no private calls in commentary. There are no private calls in commentary.
We talked about it. I told him that there was no pressure to remove anything, and I wouldn't blame him for not removing anything.
The crazy part is, chat, that right after...
Actually, that's a good point. Sorry, I'm spreading misinformation there. It wasn't a dress. It was a dress and tights. That's a very good point. Thank you, Kevin Z.
The crazy part is, chat, that right after my call with Cameron, right, this very serious call, Cameron goes on an interview. Right, a little later that evening with Food Shops.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious. Cameron, are you familiar with Food Shops history?
No, I have no idea.
No, that's hilarious. I'm sure Chad will be happy to provide that information to you.
What happened with Food Shops? I don't
Okay, and before that, you're here running like defense for yourself in Deorio's Discord, saying like, "Oh, Diesel got some things wrong, this, that, and the other thing." But then when I pressure you on it, you don't provide it. You're like, "Oh, I can't find it. Oh, just give me some time to."
He's like a pathetic little fucking autistic gay worm. You did. Shut the fuck up.
But then when I pressure you on it, you don't provide it. You're like, "Oh, I can't find it. Oh, just give me some time to look for it." Right? I give you some time, and I got to be honest. I don't think you're gonna go.
He gave him a week.
I'm willing to admit that it's you haven't gotten it yet, and you can go find it. But
well, first of all, I haven't had the time. This was like a couple days ago. I'm in class. I was in a 7-hour class today. Hey, I have shit going that I'm working on.
So you have time to do glazing interviews and sit in everybody's chat that's reacting to you, but you don't have time to
I got a million fucking mentions.
Let's be clear, okay? When you've asked another commentator to pervert their fucking coverage, to fucking change and redact and fucking censor their fucking coverage, yes, you probably owe them, like, getting back to them in a timely fashion. Probably go find the fucking evidence before you even go to them. What the fuck are you doing, mate?
I would absolve you. Okay,
He's going to somebody. Oh, by the way, yeah, can you just, like, delete, like, half your video? I'll just give you the topics that you have to, like, delete. And you can just kind of go through and kind of decide, exactly how to make the, the story and the narrative still, like, make sense. But then also kind of, like, delete all this information that I'm asking you to delete, please. Fuck off, dude. Without any fucking evidence. The fucking cheek. The fucking cheek.
Get off of Twitter and start looking for the fucking audio. I don't understand.
Which can I ask, because I don't know enough. What
Look,
audio
this
are we
is-
talking
Where
about?
is the audio?
This is talked about between us in private that I was gonna try to get to him, and if I couldn't find it, because there was a lot of shit that was happening during that time where I was being. I'm not even gonna get into it.
I mean, what?
Instantly.
It's not worth.
Instantly the sympathy baiting. There was a lot of stuff. Going on. You said you're in a good place. That's why you wanted to do it. Is he drunk? Is he drunk on liquor right now? I'm drunk on the blood of my enemies, Babka.
I'm gonna get into it.
I mean, what? Can you at least?
It's not worth my time.
Can you at least explain what it is? Because
it's not
I'm
worth
gonna be honest,
my time.
If it's not worth your,
now listen. It is not worth my time.
Okay.
I got other things I'm
It's
working on.
not worth my
so I'm gonna get to
time.
that.
Okay.
You guys have a great stream, and I'm out.
Oh.